Yeah. Yeah. Welcome to Shoot the Breeze, episode 240, only here on the Bitter Medicine Podcast. You were probably expecting to hear another voice, huh? No. How does that African meme go? No. I am Jacadero filling in for Brother Koku here on the Bitter Medicine. Once again, Shoot the Breeze episode 240. On today's Shoot the Breeze episode, we are talking about the hantavirus, also parenthood. Some of you are parents, huh? You might want to pay attention to this one. Also, sundown towns, and also, maybe just maybe, once again, we're bringing it back in 2026. Submissive or non-submissive wives or partners, huh? How about it? Before we get too far into this, let's go ahead and have you get familiar with the network. Yes, because Bitter Medicine Podcast is part of a larger network, and there's other different programs that you can be a part of and you may need to be aware of. Let's get into it. Let's go. Come on.
You are listening to the Bitter Medicine Podcast on KWAC Radio. Welcome to the Bitter Medicine Podcast, where it's all about Black empowerment. Our show focuses on Black news and entertainment, arts, science, economics, history, people, and strategies that uplift, empower, and motivate Africans within the diaspora. And now your host, whose favorite color is black, Goku.
Welcome back to the Bitter Medicine Podcast. I am your host, Koku. Just want to remind you guys before we get the show rolling that this show is part of a podcast network called KWAZ Radio. There are other shows on the network you are invited to tune into.
This is D Webb with the Harsh Reality Podcast, asking you to tune in where we tackle the news of the day that affects our community, only on KWAZ Radio.
Peace, family. This is Oni, inviting you to listen to the pro-Black perspective, where Black problems are addressed with Black solutions.
Greetings, fam. Tune in to The Learning Curve with me, the Revolutionary Matron on KWAZ Radio.
You are listening to the Bitter Medicine Podcast on KWAC Radio.
Yeah. Yeah. Once again, if you are just joining in, I am Jacadero filling in for Brother Koku here on Shoot the Breeze episode 240. Yes, 240. We are 60 episodes away from 300, huh? If you're around the same age as me, you already know where that 300 came from, huh? You already know, huh? We 300, huh? Let's go ahead and let's see what's in the chat. Let's see who's communicating and who's greeting us in the chat. Trigger Happy says, back to back. Yes, Trigger Happy, back to back. That's right. Trigger Happy, what's going on? Trigger Happy also says, peace. What's going on, Trigger Happy? Arthur Zaw says, greetings, brothers and sisters. Greetings, Arthur Zaw. Jose says, what's up, folks? What's up, Jose? Hey, Jose, ¿qué pasó? ¿Qué lo que? Soy africano, pero ya tú sabes, para día, déjalo respirar. Hey, XOXO also says, good evening, Bitter Medicine fam. Yes, good evening, XOXO. And then also Daily Affirmation says, good evening, Daily Affirmations. What's up, man? Hey, we have a lot. We have a lot of show just for you guys. But remember, you can always keep up with us, be involved, and share your thoughts and ideas and perspectives, and give your topics for Saturday's Shoot the Breeze episode each and every single week. But you can do that each and every single day. How? There's a Discord. Yes. The app Discord, the purple app. Yes. Go ahead and download Discord, the Bitter Medicine Podcast. Join with us, be with us, connect with us, build with us, with like-minded individuals, Pan-African nationalists like yourself, like you, the one that's watching and listening. Yes, you. And if you don't want to be a part of that, I mean, that's fine and all. Maybe you're too busy, but we just need to let you know on who we are, huh? Once again, I just want to give you guys a reminder. Let's go.
You are listening to the Bitter Medicine Podcast on KWAZ Radio.
This is D Webb with the Harsh Reality Podcast, asking you to tune in where we tackle the news of the day that affects our community, only on KWAZ Radio.
Peace, family. This is Oni, inviting you to listen to the pro-black perspective, where black problems are addressed with black solutions.
Greetings, fam. Tune in to The Learning Curve with me, the revolutionary matron on KWAZ Radio.
You are listening to the Bitter Medicine Podcast on KWAZ Radio.
Ooh-wee! Yes, sir. Once again, if you are just tuning in, welcome, greetings, peace, Shemiam, Hotep, Ankuja, Seneb, Neb. I am Jacadero, filling in and honored to fill in for Brother Koku here on Shoot the Breeze episode 240 at the Bitter Medicine Podcast. You guys can also join the panel tonight. Yes, each and every Saturday, but also tonight. Yes, just for this episode, because we got a range of topics. We're not only one-dimensional here on Shoot the Breeze. Come on, join the panel. Click on that StreamYard link. You see it? Do you see it? Do you see it? Can you ask your mama? Can you ask your papa? Go ahead and click on that StreamYard link and get involved. Hey, come on, huh? What are you waiting for, huh? It's like that old commercial. What are you doing anyways, huh? You're not doing nothing anyways. You're just sitting on the couch. So if you want to be heard, literally, you want to be heard? Go ahead and click on that link. Speaking of being heard, let's go ahead and let's hear the Shoot the Breeze episode, or Shoot the Breeze topic number 1, huh? And it is, should we be concerned about this rat virus, huh? We ain't talking about the virus that Shredder from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles have. We're talking about a real virus, huh? Should we be concerned? And it follows, and it comes with a video prompt. Yes, it comes with a video. Yes. We don't just discuss things only. We got a video just to go with. This is a little longer, huh? We might play the whole thing. We might not, but this should get everybody to welcome on in, huh? Just a real good welcoming. It's a welcoming video. Just so maybe you were just getting off of work. Maybe you're just coming home, huh? From doing whatever it is that Pan-African nationalists do. Whatever it is, huh? Whatever it is. So this should be the video that should welcome you on in. It's a little bit long. We might play the whole thing. We might not. Depends on how it goes here, huh? So let's go ahead and let's get familiar and also get curious on, should we be concerned about this rat virus? What's this rat virus? Come on, let's take a look.
Tonight, the cruise ship MV Hondius is docked off the West African nation of Cape Verde, officials revoking permission for passengers to disembark. The ship set sail from Argentina more than 4 weeks ago, promising its 150 passengers a journey to several exotic places, culminating in Antarctica. Now, passengers are stuck on the ship. Medical investigators believe 3 passengers have died from the hantavirus. 3 other cases are suspected. Hantavirus is a rare respiratory disease that can kill up to 50% of those infected. It's the same illness that killed actor Gene Hackman's wife last year.
This really is a detective story. So they're going to have to figure out, okay, where was the boat? Where were the people? When could they possibly have been infected with rodent droppings or urine or saliva?
The World Health Organization is helping to evacuate passengers that are showing symptoms.
Right now, the World Health Organization is saying there's no big risk to the general public. But of course, you're always going to play it safe. You're going to be as cautious as possible and get as much information as possible.
And Dr. Lepouk says this virus is not like the norovirus, which can rapidly spread on a cruise ship and really wreak havoc. The World Health Organization is working to see if this virus is the strain that can be passed from person to person. Tony.
Tom, thank you very much. And good evening. What began as a cruise of a lifetime, a weeks-long luxury journey to the edge of the Southern Ocean, has instead turned into a major medical mystery and an international crisis tonight. 3 people are dead, 4 more are ill, and nearly 150 others stranded on board the ship, where they will stay potentially for months until investigators can clear them to get off. For now, medical workers seen here boarding the ship in full protective gear are telling people to stay in their cabins as they zero in on a potential cause, a rare form of the hantavirus believed to have spread person to person on board the ship. Tom Hansen is tracking this story for us. Tom, good evening. So many questions. What are you learning?
Hey there, Tony. Good evening to you. Well, this cruise liner offered passengers a chance to stop at remote, untouched locations, regions where hantavirus is also common in the wildlife. And now the World Health Organization tells CBS News the infections could have possibly started during one of those nature excursions. Tonight, the 3 remaining passengers showing symptoms believed to be linked to the deadly hantavirus are expected to be airlifted off the MV Hondias. The Spanish government says the ship, with 147 passengers on board, could sail to the nearby Canary Islands for a full disinfection.
There are no additional symptomatic people on board. That said, the situation is being closely monitored.
New video shows officials from the World Health Organization boarding the ship in PPE, there to monitor for any new cases. Communal spaces otherwise sit empty as passengers enter their 3rd night in quarantine. According to the company managing the cruise, so far 7 passengers have fallen ill. 3 of those passengers have died, and another was hospitalized in South Africa, all of them suspected of having the hantavirus. Health officials believe the passengers were infected off the ship, which made several stops on islands up the South American coast. Symptoms can take up to a month to show up.
What we our working assumption is that it is the Andes virus. It could not be, but we're assuming that it is until we determined otherwise.
The Andes strain of hantavirus can spread from person to person and is only found in regions of South America. The Dutch cruise liner left Argentina on April 1st and has been moored off the West African island of Cape Verde since Sunday. The virus is most commonly spread through exposure to rodent droppings, but a representative for the World Health Organization on Cape Verde tells CBS News no rodents have been found on the ship, pointing to traps on board the vessel that appear untouched. Medical experts believe the risks are low for the outbreak to spread.
How big of a concern is this for the global community?
The potential to spread beyond an outbreak is very small.
And the voyage to the Canary Islands is expected to take 3 to 4 days. Health officials will decide if further quarantine is necessary. And if that's the case, Tony, a WHO official says the quarantine could last for up to 2 months.
It's a long time. Tom, thank you very much. Good evening. Where did it begin and who's been exposed? Those are among the big questions tonight as investigators race to control a deadly outbreak of hantavirus, the first ever recorded on a cruise ship. That ship right now somewhere off the coast of Africa on its way to Spain's Canary Islands, all of it at the request of the World Health Organization. But the point of infection may have been Argentina, where investigators say the leading theory is that a couple caught the disease before boarding, exposed to rodents during a bird watching tour that included a stop at a landfill. So what now for the more than 140 people still on board that ship, including 17 Americans? Tom Hansen joins us now with the latest on the investigation. Tom, good evening. What do we know?
Tony, good evening to you. We have learned from local reports that late tonight, one of 2 planes evacuating sick passengers had to make an emergency landing on Gran Canary Island due to a malfunction with the patient's isolation bubble. They are waiting a replacement equipment to arrive before they can take off. Tonight, the Dutch Foreign Ministry says those 3 passengers believed to be infected with the deadly hantavirus will receive specialized medical treatment in Europe after a high-stakes evacuation off the MV Hondias. Now a debate is raging over what to do with the nearly 150 remaining passengers, just days away from reaching the Canary Islands.
Quiero manifestar mi profundo rechazo.
Some local leaders there are rejecting the ship's arrival, adding to the concern a growing number of reported cases, 8 in total. The World Health Organization confirmed the infection of a Swiss national who left the Hondias cruise liner in late April. The UK's health agency says 2 more British passengers are self-isolating from potential exposure. And a contact case involving a Frenchman who was not on board the ship but flew on a plane with one of the infected passengers, according to the French Ministry of Health. The Dutch cruise ship departed Argentina on April 1st, headed for South Georgia Island. 5 days later, a Dutch passenger developed a respiratory illness. On April 11th, he became the outbreak's first death at sea. The man's wife disembarked on April 24th and flew from St. Helena to Johannesburg, where she died 2 days later. A second male passenger was evacuated on April 27th and flown to Johannesburg. And on May 2nd, a third passenger died on the ship.
The atmosphere was tense.
Ruhi Sinet was a passenger on the cruise. He recorded this video of the captain.
One of our passengers sadly passed away last night.
Following the captain's announcement, Sinet said the passengers on board continued with social activities.
He said it was due to natural causes and we are not infectious. This was relaxing at the time, but it was also...
Websites your competitors don't want you to know, part 2. All you do is go to this website, and it lets you find out exactly how much your competitor
misguiding us.
Nonetheless, he decided to get off, along with dozens more passengers. An ocean-wide expedition which operates the cruise gave us the following statement, and I quote, "This onboard announcement was made on April 12th, 2026. On this date, the cause of death of this individual was unknown." They went on to say proper procedure was followed at that time. Tony?
Tom, thank you very much. We're back with more on that deadly strain of the hantavirus and first ever outbreak aboard a cruise ship. More than 140 people on board, with 3 deaths among 8 confirmed cases so far. What's the risk to the ship and the wider public? Earlier, I spoke with Dr. Celine Gounder, an infectious disease expert, CBS News medical correspondent, and KFF editor-at-large for public health. Dr. Gounder, thank you very much for being here. We're in a post-COVID world. People are scared. They hear about an outbreak and they're worried. I know you say this is not COVID. Explain to me why.
So this is not COVID. The Andes virus, which is a kind of hantavirus, requires close, prolonged contact between 2 people in order to have transmission. When we've seen this happen in the past, it's been in the context of spouses, that kind of close contact. What makes this really hard to contain is the fact that it's on a ship and the timeline. So you have this long incubation period. You also have a period of time when people can be infectious before they show symptoms.
So we got 140 people on this boat. 17 of them are Americans. How do you deal with that population safely?
Could they, in theory, come home safely? Yes. The risk of spreading this on a flight is very low. They would need to be near a hospital that has a heart-lung bypass machine, because that's what you need when you get really sick with hantavirus. But it is something that we can anticipate that some countries won't want to accept them, right? And this goes back to the Ebola days, 2014, 2015. So these passengers may well need to quarantine on the ship.
That out of office message just got a little longer. Dr. Gounder, thank you.
Ooh-wee. Nice. Hey. Once again, if you are just joining us here at the Better Medicine Podcast, Shoot the Breeze, episode 240, you are hearing the voice of Jacadero. Yes, this is Jacadero. Yes, I'm filling in for Brother Koku, and I'm honored to do so. Our first topic of the night, Shoot the Breeze episode 240. Topic number 1: should we be concerned about this rat virus? And this rat virus being the hantavirus that you see, or hold on, let's make sure that you guys see it in your guys' background. Let me not get ahead of myself. But yes, that you see here in the background. Again, should we be concerned about this rat virus? Before we get into our first panelist of the night, Trigger Happy in the comments says, they engineering another pandemic right in front of our eyes. Hopefully not, man. He says, so don't be surprised if another lockdown happens. Man, this is a virus that has, again, as you see in the background, if you're watching us, if you're watching what we have in the background, it has a 50% fatality rate. So if you get it, it's a 50-50 chance that you'll end up living, Charlize in the chat says, no, there's no concern. If there is, it's because Bakra created the concern and or problem. Oof, true indeed. Hey, and maybe, Charles, you want to maybe come to the panel, huh? Maybe you want to elaborate further on what exactly you mean, huh? What exactly you mean? Daily Affirmation says, my children have booked a cruise in 2027, and because of this, I have asked them to consider canceling while they can back out. Man, that might be life-saving advice. But this is only the beginning stages. I mean, we still don't know a lot. I know that we all just watched an 8-minute video, but we still don't know a lot. But maybe, just maybe, some of us here on the panel maybe know more than us. Black Steel, what say you? Huh? Let's get with it. You are an educator. You might have some input. You might have some insight on health. But should we be concerned about this rat virus, Black Steel? And also, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, Black Steel. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me again, Jackadero. Good to see you here. All your youthful exuberance. Always a pleasure to hear from you, brother.
I appreciate
Shout out to my fellow teachers. This week was Teacher Appreciation Week. So, we got a lot of goodies and whatnot. And a lot of it depends on your PTA. We have a very active PTA in my school, so we had a really, really nice showing today, this week. But so I, while you were talking, looking at the videos, I was looking online and kind of Googling and looking to see what information I could find about this virus. So it looks as though this virus, again, like they were saying, is spread through people inhaling rodent feces, right? And it looks like it says that it could take difficulty breathing can persist up to 2 years, but it's mainly caused by infection with New World hantavirus in the Americas. Let's see, transmission occurs mainly through inhaling of aerosols that contain rodent saliva, urine, feces, but can also occur through contaminated bites, food, and scratches. So it sounds like there's no vaccines that can really protect against hantavirus, they said. But they're saying that mainly wearing masks is necessary. There's not a lot of cases of this virus, right? It says that there's about dozens to maybe 100 per year, which is not a lot in the global scheme of things. So I think that if they keep them quarantined and let the virus run its course, I think that we should be okay. I don't see this being spread anywhere near as bad as COVID, because the original vector is rodents. So somebody either has some level of nastiness they didn't clean up, or whatever. But I don't feel like this is something that's going to take off and infect the world the way the COVID vaccine was. Again, they're talking about quarantining them for up to 2 months. I think that 2 months should be sufficient enough to protect the larger public from this virus. I think that everybody's a little bit on edge. We're all a little, have PTSD from going through the COVID experience, which is totally and completely understandable. But I don't think that this is going to be the next pandemic. I think that we're probably going to see stuff like bird flu could become another pandemic if it gets out of control. But I don't think this is going to be the level of COVID. I think it's just kind of like a shot in the dark, 1 in 100,000 situation where people are just coming down with this. So that's just my thoughts on it. I don't believe that everybody should be concerned.
Well, I mean, let's ask a few questions then, Black Steel. You and a few in the chat have said that there's no reason for it to be a concern, right? But let me ask, if that is the case, why is it that no other countries that this boat has passed, pretty much most of Southwest Africa, have said nah? Even Spain, the Canary Islands, which owns Spain, which is owned by Canary Islands, which is owned by Spain. Regional leaders in the Canary Islands have vocally been against allowing the boat to dock there. So if this is not a big concern, if we should not be worried, why is it that global leaders have said, nah, don't even think about putting this boat anywhere near our country and allowing those passengers to leave?
I mean, we're all better safe than sorry. Everybody's been traumatized by COVID, so we understand what could happen in a global outbreak like this gets out of control. So I understand why they would be hesitant to let something like that come on their shores. So for me, and also too, they might not have the medical facilities. Again, it's a very rare disease. They talk about, a couple hundred cases worldwide per year. They might not have the facilities or the equipment to deal with this. So I think for everybody's caution, they're probably just saying, we should be careful and not bring anybody on board or, treat these people because we might not have the facilities or the knowledge or the expertise to really combat this the way it needs to be combated. But I can understand why they would not want to do that. But I can understand why they would be cautious to avoid contaminating their country. Because again, what if they don't have the there's no vaccine for this. It's just, it's got to run its course. And it has a fatality rate of 30 to 60%. So this is a very serious illness that could potentially, be damaging. But if they keep it quarantined, I do think that it would be less likely to spread. But yeah, those countries might just be taking an abundance of caution, which I can't say they're wrong for doing so. This is a dangerous world, and you never know. Viruses mutate all the time. So who's to say this doesn't get into the global population and mutate? And now you have more problems on your hand with dealing with just, bringing this disease home and affecting your population. So that's my thoughts on it.
All right. And in the chat, man, we got Cheryl. She says there's already been a couple people from the boat, that cruise ship, that were allowed to leave South Africa after being allowed to enter in South Africa. And then we have Trigger Happy says, yeah, it's already starting. Then if they in South Africa, were they white? And yeah, we, for those that are aware, at least on international news, Black South Africans haven't been too neighborly or too welcoming to Black immigrants. So it's interesting on, maybe they weren't aware that individuals not from South Africa were in the country, maybe having hantavirus. Koku in the chat 911 says Hanta comes from mice, but this version is passed on between humans. That's a concern. Blackstone, what say you? If you were the president, prime minister, or the leader of any country, let alone an African country, I know that boat also touched, at least it went through Antarctica. And let's pretend Antarctica is a jurisdiction in itself. Would you allow this boat to dock to save the 149 or let's say 130 people plus that might not be affected? Would you allow them to get off and use if you had the medical facilities to treat them?
Hell no. Hell no.
And why so? Why do you?
Because why in God's name would I do that? Let's not play games here, okay? I'd rather take an abundance of caution than mess around and not have a country. You don't know these people's medical history. Again, it's always better to err on the side of caution. But hell no, I don't think they should. Seriously, I would send doctors to the boat, right? Okay, you get on a hazmat suit, you get your hazmat suit on, and we'll sell you out there to the boat, and we'll get you have them looked at. I would be okay with that. That's what we want to do. We can do that. I totally support that. But bring him on land? Oh no, buddy. No, we can help you, but you got to stay on board this boat. That's what I'm saying. I think we can help you, but let's just keep our distance and everybody be smart about this. But yeah, I'm not bringing no passengers on board. Because again, there's no vaccine, there's no cure for this stuff. It's just got to run its course. So at this point, I'd be like, you know what? Let's just We can treat them. We can help them out. But yeah, you guys got to stay on board the ship while we do that. We're not going to put our country's population at risk in their well-being just because you want to go on a cruise around the world, and that's all well and good. More power to you. You got the money to do that. That's fine. But obviously, they got the money to do that, and they'll be okay. And people will be fine. But I don't think it's worth risking the lives of any, especially African nations. Like, that's crazy. To think that these people should be able to go into the motherland and just, spread a potential virus. I think that's crazy. So no, I wouldn't let them on the ship. I would send doctors out to them. Those doctors will be fully covered, hazmat, decontamination. When they get to the ship, when they get back, they're decontaminating, and even then the doctors are going to be isolated. But they're going to keep their distance. Yeah, I think that's perfectly understandable to keep them, quarantined and away from the main population centers of any country that they're in.
All right,
we got to be careful. We got to be smart.
Black Steel with the stern stance on no immigration in his African nation. In the chat, Cheryl says these commercials in the background are killing me. Hey, yeah, from advertisements for correcting ED to real estate. Yes. YouTube is interesting indeed. Trigger Happy says, in reference to my question on, were those Black South Africans aware that the government once again allowed immigrants into the country? And Trigger Happy says, South Africans likely won't suspect those white passengers and thus will likely spread. Speaking of spread, Black Steel says, no, I would never want passengers from this boat, infected or not, to be even if I had the facilities, he says, to be allowed into the country. Well, Black Steel, don't hold your breath, because we have another video, and it deals, for those that don't know, I'm Jacadero filling in for Brother Koku here on the Better Medicine Podcast, Shoot the Breeze, episode 240. I'm based out of Omaha, Nebraska. I'll get a little bit into on what exactly I do and who exactly I represent here in Omaha, Nebraska. But Omaha is in the news with the hantavirus. Yes. So if you don't hear my voice for the rest of the summer, it's probably because I'm in quarantine because of this. Let's go ahead and let's take a watch on this relevant video that deals with the hantavirus in Nebraska and the United States at large. Let's take a listen.
Get your brand in the game. Join First Alert 6 for our Sports Upfront, Wednesday, May 13th at 3 p.m. at Topgolf Omaha. This is open to all businesses. Learn how to grow your business with WOWT's premium sports advertising. Plus, enjoy free food and golf. Scan the QR code or visit sportsupfront.com to RSVP today.
For us now, also breaking tonight, Omaha will once again host people under quarantine for a potentially deadly illness. This time, the disease is hantavirus. The CDC confirming in the days ahead, Americans currently aboard the cruise ship where health officials say this hantavirus outbreak began will board a charter flight to Nebraska. CDC teams will meet them on the tarmac and place them under quarantine at UNMC's National Quarantine Unit. It's not clear yet exactly how many patients health officials are expecting. We do know there are about 20 Americans on board the virus-stricken cruise ship. The CDC says none of those passengers are showing any symptoms. So far, officials say this outbreak has killed 3 people. We are learning more details on those passengers exposed to the hantavirus. First Alert 6, Zina Taher joins us live now. Zina, they'll likely get here over the weekend.
Yeah, Jacqueline, they're going to get here over the weekend, and they're planning on taking in 17 people on this campus, American citizens from that cruise ship. They may take up to 19 people, and they do have capacity in that quarantine unit for 20 people. That quarantine unit here is the only one that's federally funded in the entire U.S., and if those people from the cruise ship do get symptoms, they'll likely be transferred to the isolation unit here for treatment. Either way, the facilities here are built to prevent the spread of infection.
We have negative pressure rooms, means that when you open the door, the air blows in the room, not out. Any air that goes out of that room or the rooms these patients are in, is filtered through, what we call a HEPA filter. And so, a lot of precautions to make sure that the public is not at risk.
If any of the passengers here do end up having symptoms or getting sick, they'll be cared for by a team of trained professionals that are on campus here who are trained in preventing the spread of infectious disease. For now, back to you.
All right, Zena, thanks. Yeah, and we did learn that this could take 1 to 8 weeks for these passengers to show any symptoms, so they will likely be in there for a while. Now, meanwhile, Omaha does have a history of treating and containing dangerous disease outbreaks. In 2014, health officials brought 2 Ebola patients to the Med Center for treatment. Another person possibly exposed to Ebola came to UNMC in 2019. In 2020, Americans exposed to COVID-19 in the early days of the pandemic also came to the National Quarantine Center. That specialized unit is one of only 4 in the country capable of taking patients who could start devastating epidemics. Now, a few important things to note about hantavirus. This disease is potentially deadly, but health officials say it doesn't spread easily from person to person. Experts say the virus usually spreads when people inhale contaminated residue of rodent droppings.
It's not an easy transmission. So like if I passed you in a hallway and you had it and I didn't know, it is unlikely that I would necessarily get it. We do not expect this to become the next COVID-19 pandemic type scenario.
Now, that is partly why the CDC is classifying the hantavirus outbreak at its lowest emergency level. Some CDC staffers are on the way to meet the cruise ship in the Canary Islands. This as the CDC is working with states on contact tracing and monitoring those Americans who were on the ship and disembarked. Arizona, California, Georgia, Texas, and Virginia all confirm they're tracking those who were on board. A first alert to our streaming coverage now. Just minutes after this story broke, we were streaming.
Hey, let's get to the chat. Once again, if you are just joining in, you are hearing the voice of Jacadero filling in for Brother Koku on Shoot the Breeze episode 240 on the Bitter Medicine podcast. Again, you can become a panelist here tonight. Yes, for this show. Click on the StreamYard link at the top of the chat, and that way you can get your voice heard as well as give your opinions on anything that's going on in the chat or anything that's on your mind. Cheryl asks, we should do overall predictions on what may happen, referring to this hantavirus outbreak on this cruise ship. She says, give us your wildest predictions. Lord of Slaughter greets us first. RBG, what's going on, Lord of Slaughter? And Lord of Slaughter gives us a super chat of $4.99. Says, keep them on the ship. Koku says, Koku911 says, please smash the like button. And Koku says, I agree with this. Lord of Slaughter adds, unlikely is not negative, though, in reference to the news clip that we've seen that the CDC will be bringing in American nationalists to the country, specifically to Omaha's UNMC, University of Nebraska's Medical Center. And this was allowed. For those that don't know, the current chancellor that was named the chancellor 3 days ago for UNMC is a Nigerian. Yes, Miss Dr. Dele Davis, a PhD holder from Michigan State School of Medicine, man. So big up to our African diaspora doing big things here in the United States. Yes, Dr. Dele Davis of UNMC. So if you guys get a chance to run into him, hopefully you're not a patient of the hantavirus, but please give a shout out on behalf of the Bitter Medicine podcast, Shoot the Breeze family. Koku says, these guys just say stuff and react and say it again. Bakari says, peace and Black African power, Black African family. What's going on? So Black Steel, you said that you wouldn't allow them, but the United States is allowing them to be in the country. So, what would be, you're a teacher, what would be your next call? Would you now just suspend classes? Let's say if summer vacation was not just around the corner, what would you do at this point?
Well, at this point, if so here's my thing. They have the facilities to treat it. Apparently they've been treating, heavily infectious diseases, like they mentioned Ebola, they treated that. They've treated, you know, COVID and stuff like that. So this facility is obviously equipped with the means to treat a virus of this level. So for that sake, I could understand why the United States is bringing this in to the country, right? Because again, they have the means to do something about it. If they were just some more, you know, regular country, I would say hell no. But if they're saying they have the means and the ability to use it and to treat their people and to quarantine them safely, then by all means. But again, these are American citizens that they're talking about. They're not bringing in people who aren't Americans. I wouldn't expect them to bring anybody from another country. They're not bringing any Argentinians or South Africans. They're looking after their own, which is what they're supposed to do in the first place. So that's just my thoughts on it. They can do what they want to do. But me, nah, buddy. I'm cool. We're going to hold off and see. That's just my 2 cents about it personally. I would not be bringing anybody. We're going to treat you on the boat. And, you know, we're going to wait our 2-month quarantine. And then, you know, that's another discussion for another time. But, you know, I'm not any type of person who studies viruses. I'm always going to err on the side of caution when it comes to a situation like this. And I think that's for the best. I think many countries would be wise to do that because, again, this is not something that is common. People aren't coming down with hantavirus like that. It's not the flu. So this is something that I would, again, keep them on the boat, treat them there. If the United States want to take them on, they got facilities, they got the ability to quarantine them, you know, so be it. But other than that, no, buddy, stay where you're at.
Once again, Black Steel with the stern stance on not allowing passengers on this cruise ship that has been infected with the hantavirus from rat droppings. Eesh, yuck. I'm very curious myself on how one could contact a virus from rat droppings or.
Well, here's the thing, though. I mean, especially if you don't know, because you know rats are very, you know, they're very intelligent. They're very able to get into spaces and whatnot. So if you have a really bad infestation, then inhaling their droppings is very, very possible, right? So I don't know because, you know, I'm not engaged in that type of stuff. I keep a clean house. Matter of fact, before the show started, I was mopping up, and so I could see it happening, but yeah, I just think that keeping them on board the boat is the safest thing to do.
Black Steel, aka Mr. Clean, huh? He said he was mopping up the house before he got on the Shoot the Breeze episode 240. Again, if you're just joining in, this is Jacadero filling in for Brother Koku, and I'm honored to here on the Better Medicine podcast. We are discussing the hantavirus, and if we, again, us family should be concerned about this virus on this cruise ship that is not being allowed to dock anywhere except Spain has said, "No, you can go ahead and dock on the Canary Islands." not mainland Spain, but on the Canary Islands. Yeah, go ahead. Cheryl says that she's having trouble getting on. Just continue to maybe refresh the page or whatever internet server that you're using. Just click out of that and then just try again. Again, if you want to be like Cheryl and be a part of the panel tonight, click on the StreamYard link. We want to hear from you. Jose said no in the poll because missed the topic. Come on, Jose, ¿qué pasó, Holmes? What's going on, Chico? Huh? Come on, how can you miss the entire topic? Unless maybe you're trying to come up with a cure for the hantavirus yourself. Maybe you got a laboratory that deals with infectious diseases. Cheryl says your average human is in constant panic mode. Really? Come on, Cheryl, get here. Let's have you elaborate more on your opinions. The R Matron says, "Greetings, everybody. Greetings, R Matron. What's up? Huh? What's up? Koku says, "Greetings, also Lord of Slaughter gives his greetings to our matron as well. And Cheryl says, I have to download Discord now. You should have been on it, Cheryl. I mean, what is not happening? You don't have to.
You shouldn't have to download Discord to get onto the. Is the link not working?
Yeah, the link. If you're just on YouTube on your phone, the YouTube app, it should have the StreamYard link, Cheryl, and then that way you could just click the link without having to go through Discord. But you should have already had the Better Medicine podcast on the Discord. Come on, Cheryl, what's going on? Huh? Come on, don't you want to build? Don't you want to help build? Huh? Anyway, speaking of building, you need partners to build. For those that are single, or maybe those that are in relationships that are looking to be out of relationships, this next topic is for you. It's our second Shoot the Breeze topic of the night, and it asks, do you disagree with her? If so, why? We go to Instagram for the video that deals with this question. Again, Shoot the Breeze topic number 2 on Shoot the Breeze episode 240. I am Jacadero, filling in proudly for Brother Koku Medicine podcast. And again, Shoot the Breeze topic number 2, we ask, do you disagree with her? If so, and why? And Cheryl asks, no, it's making me jump through hoops. I don't know. I'm not IT trained, but how have you gotten through it before? Try that same exact method. If not, I'm not sure. Maybe somebody can direct message you if you guys have direct communication with Cheryl and help her out. All right, let's go ahead and get into the video. Again, it asks, Shoot the Breeze topic number 2, do you disagree with her? We'll play this twice, maybe thrice, maybe 3 times, but at least twice. Let's go ahead and let's go to Instagram for this video. Stand by.
Protect this queen at all costs, and finally a Black woman with a better mindset. Boo, it's because I'm a conservative. Yeah, I'm not a Democrat. I'm a conservative. And a lot of Black men consistently vote Democrat, even though you hate what the Democrat ideology is doing to Black women. The fact is, the feminist movement lumped itself in with the Democrat Party, and Black women have been the worst recipients of the feminist ideology. Being told that we are equal to men made us think that we don't need to respect Black men. Black men do not want to put up with someone who wants to argue with you about everything, who will not let you do what you are meant to do and lead the household, right? You don't want to put up with someone who wants to unalive your unborn child because it's her body, her choice. You want someone who doesn't view herself as your equal, but as your partner. Right? You want someone who respects and even appreciates your masculinity and doesn't call you toxic because you don't want to cry every single second. And someone who doesn't say, I need to see your emotions more. But the moment you say it makes me uncomfortable for you to wear that, she tells you that you're a simp or you're trying to infringe on her rights as a woman. Her ability to choose what she wants to do. You don't want to deal with all of that, guys. You just don't. And what we need to do as a Black community is wake up to the lies that the left has been telling us, acknowledge and accept that you actually believe in more traditional conservative values. You've just been tricked into believing that the conservative party is full of racists. I'm here to tell you, as a Black woman, that is not true. That's a lie spread by the left. Guys, take a moment this year, go over the actual ideology of each party, decide what you want your life to look like, what you want your family to look like, and then decide whether or not you're going to continue to vote blue. Because we've been voting blue since the 50s, and all we have is, honestly, more Black women doing OnlyFans, more Black women selling their bodies to the highest bidder, and less loving, supporting Black wives. This is for the Black men in my comments saying protect this queen at all costs, and finally a Black woman with a better mindset. Boo, it's because I'm a conservative. Yeah, I'm not a Democrat. I'm a conservative. And a lot of Black men consistently vote Democrat, even though you hate what the Democrat ideology is doing to Black women. The fact is, the feminist movement lumped itself in with the Democrat Party, and Black women have been the worst recipients of the feminist ideology. Being told that we are equal to men made us think that we don't need to respect Black men. Black men do not want to put up with someone who wants to argue with you about everything, who will not let you do what you are meant to do and lead the household, right? You don't want to put up with someone who wants to unalive your unborn child because it's her body, her choice. You want someone who doesn't view herself as your equal, but as your partner, right? You want someone who respects and even appreciates your masculinity and doesn't call you toxic because you don't want to cry every single second. And someone who doesn't say, I need to see your emotions more, but the moment you say it makes me uncomfortable for you to wear that, she tells you that you're a simp or you're trying to infringe on her rights as a woman. Her ability to choose what she wants to do. You don't want to deal with all of that, guys. You just don't. And what we need to do as a Black community is wake up to the lies that the left has been telling us, acknowledge and accept that you actually believe in more traditional conservative values. You've just been tricked into believing that the conservative party is full of racists. I'm here to tell you, as a Black woman, that is not true. That's a lie spread by the left. Guys, take a moment this year, go over the actual ideology of each party, decide what you want your life to look like, what you want your family to look like, and then decide whether or not you're going to continue to vote blue. Because we've been voting blue since the 50s, and all we have is, honestly, more Black women doing OnlyFans, more Black women selling their bodies to the highest bidder, and less loving, supporting Black wives.
Hey, I was gonna play that three times, but I'm sure you guys get.
Please don't.
Before we get into our panelists' thoughts, again, we want more panelists. We need more panelists. We are always encouraging. Go ahead and click on the StreamYard link. XOXO says, click the X in the chat. Go to where it says more and scroll to the Discord link. It worked for me talking to Cheryl's. Before we get into our panelists' thoughts and also the comments in the YouTube chat, let's go to the comments in this post. This is by, we always want to give credit to our content creators, especially if they are the African diaspora, #_Marian. And her caption says, I get so many comments under my anti-feminist posts from Black men who find my mindset refreshing. I need you guys to understand this is because I am no longer a Democrat. My ability to respect and appreciate men in their full masculinity is a direct reflection of, one, my respect for God and his design for humanity with men at the head. Ooh. And number two, my conservative values. Black women will thrive when Black men stop supporting the party that is destroying the community. And her comments range from a bullseye target to preach to, as a community, we've always been conservative, but the feminists hijacked a lot of our women, and now we have what we have now. To be honest, though, I'm not for the fight no more. I've retired from dating. It's just too much. This guy, hopefully it's a guy, most Black people are conservatives, but only vote Democrat because they say they're helping the poor. And the liberal media teaches us that we Black people are poor. It's a mind game they're playing on us, and we not smart enough to see it. We deserve to suffer for being emotionally and intellectually weak. Hey, okay, let's get to the comments in the chat, in the YouTube chat. Okay, where do I even start? Black Steel says, oh, for God's sake. Trigger Happy says, I got to say it again. We have to move away from the right-left paradigm when describing our politics. Lord of Slaughter says, I disagree. What happened to each person knowing their role? Cheryl says, I reserve judgment on her until I do a background check on her Instagram. Uh-oh, Cheryl about to do her thorough research, huh? Well, you got her Instagram handle. Maybe you can find out some more information. Lord of Slaughter says she's a religious loon. He also says I put money on it. Black Steel says this must have been before the Supreme Court decision. Which decision exactly? Maybe Black Steel can elaborate on that. One of the thing our matron says, she has a few good points, but she's ignoring the fact that most Black people don't care how other people live and don't force their ideas on others. Africana womanism is the only ideology for Black women. And then she says being a conservative is inherently anti-Black. Huh? Woof. We got a lot more comments, but I want to get into the panelists' thoughts. We only have one panel. Come on. Click the StreamYard link. Let's get this going. Black Steel, what say you? The Shoot the Breeze topic number 2. Do you disagree with her? If so, why?
It ain't gonna work, sister. Well, no, she's not a sister of mine. It ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. I'm sorry. It ain't gonna work. I don't care how many sweet butter biscuits these crackers give you. It ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. We're really past this type of nonsense in the way. We're done. We're done. It's just crazy to me. These people get on here and they say this stuff, talk about feminism and whatnot. Like we can't see what the Republican and the conservatives in the United States are doing, right? To be conservative is to be anti-Black by definition, right? Because you have to ask, what exactly are you trying to conserve, right? What exactly are you trying? You're trying to conserve the status quo. Those people who are what we call the right and the left, left is more conservative, left is more liberal. You have variations of it, right? But this is something that I would definitely say is that what is she talking about? What exactly is she saying? It's so stupid that these people get on here and act like we don't know what's going on and we can't see what's happening, right? She's talking about feminism and the man is the head and everything. I'm sorry, right? Let's be real. That much of Black people, especially in the West, and also too in parts of diaspora, is patterned off of what the European has done, right? When our ancestors were kidnapped and brought into slavery and they spent centuries in bondage, and then when they were released from their bondage, they didn't have a way to look back to what was being done back in their mother continent. They had to model on what the Europeans were doing. And this is kind of what I'm seeing. These people regurgitating these talking points about conservatism and religious nonsense. What religion? Christianity? The religion that was forced on your ancestors? Like, let's keep it above. What you're trying to conserve is white dominance, right? You're trying to preserve the status quo, which is anti-Black, that is white supremacist, that is about and preserving the benefits and the wealth of the 1%. That's really what she's talking about. So Black people, by and large, are not going to vote conservative because the conservatives are openly racist. And then she's trying to say that because we vote for these political parties, that's why, Black women don't respect their husband. Be fucking for real. We may have some problems in family formation, but it don't come from voting for Democrats. And I think it's very disingenuous for her to even say such a thing. And I know she's pandering to a specific base, right? You can say stuff like this and white people will give you money. And I can't knock the hustle because, they like coon and they like to hear Black people say negative things about other Black people. And this is the way to get paid. So I can't even knock the hustle. What's her name? Candace Owens does the same thing. All these other black people get out here, these conservative black people get out here and say this stuff, and they make good money from it. So black people are not going to vote for, by and large, for the conservative, because they're openly racist. They're Klans members and whatnot, and they're not going to vote for them. When people refer to left wing or leftism, what leftism usually refers to, right, is things like social equality, egalitarianism, and again, it's a spectrum. So on the furthest end of the left wing spectrum, you have anarchy. Just like if you look at the furthest end of the right wing spectrum, you have fascism, right? So, but within those two bookends, you have a lot of variation. But the closer you get to conservatism, the more racist and the more prohibitive that the ideology becomes. Black people are always going to go more so for the ideologies of leftism, because these are the ones that basically allow black people to exist. Because outside of going toward the right, you're talking about fascism. You get to lynching, you get to segregation, you get to all sorts of type of violence, and in a situation like that. So I'll go ahead. I see we got some more people on the panel. I'll speak.
Woo! Black Steel, man, always one to not mince his words. Before we get into the other panelists in the chat, we this lady, what's her name again? Hashtag _ Marion has triggered a lot. Let's see here where to start. Trigger Happy says Black people's conserving tradition would be conservative, but that can be positive in the context of re-Africanization. Ooh, Black Steel, maybe there's something you could talk about once we get back to you. Lord of Slaughter says, that's right, it ain't gonna work, in reference to Black Steel saying that's not gonna work. The forecast says, what up? What up, the forecast? What's going on? Welcome to Shoot the Breeze, episode 240 here on the Better Medicine Podcast. I'm Jack Cadero, filling in for Brother Koku, and I'm honored to do so. Trigger Happy adds, Garveyism at the end of the day exists outside of the left and right, in my opinion. Some would argue it leans more left, but it fundamentally is supposed to be African-centered in nature. Lord of Slaughter says, political parties are conducting domain over your daily life and activities. Yeah, right. He also adds, or Lord of Slaughter also adds, Black people in America don't want responsibilities. They want to sit under the control of somebody else. Amma, hey, first, welcome to the chat. Welcome to the panel. How are you? And yeah, what say you? Do you disagree with her?
Hey, y'all. I think we got to keep in mind that the average Black person that you meet, this is going to be a roundabout answer, but the average Black person that you meet has no idea what they're talking about when it comes to politics. Black people don't know a good goddamn thing. All they know is, I need to vote, right? So when it comes to a Black person like her, she has, okay, so here it is. She has values similar to how Candace Owens has conservative values. And I think what we miss in the whole conservative and Democrat thing, which neither one serves us. We can't say, oh, well, we need to be, it makes sense that when we're a Democrat, oh, because civil rights. I mean, Black people take from both without realizing it. Like, it's silly to say that, oh, we vote Democrat because they served us more when they haven't served us a good goddamn thing. And neither has the Conservative Party. So we need to stop playing this game of, we need to stop being so black and white about politics. Okay, because that shows that you really don't understand politics. And she doesn't. She doesn't understand it. What I will say about Black people is we have converging interests. We have interest convergence with some conservative values. Okay, so we have interest convergence. So most Black people are Christians, right? So it makes sense that they believe in the family. It makes sense that they believe in having children, sending them to the best schools. These are the things that conservative white people believe in, right? But it doesn't mean that just because you believe in family and just a man and a woman being together and nothing else, that doesn't mean you're aligned with white people. That's called interest convergence. That's all that is. Okay. And then Black people are Democrat because, maybe they believe, oh, all people are people. We're not expecting, you know, uh, political activism out of people like her. We're not expecting her to, stand up for Black people or stand up for African people. Okay. We got to know what we're dealing with here. And she is your typical Candace Owens type, but to say that she's getting paid to say these things, that's a bit of a reach for me because there is a platform that exists for Black men who are Christian who are looking for a Black woman who has those conservative values. I don't know how much money she's making off of that. I don't think there's tons of people like her. She's not on the Candace Owens level. She's not making money. Trust me, she's not making that much money. She's appealing to a certain group of people, which is Black men. I don't know how much money you're gonna make off of that. Let's be honest. I think this is what she believes, and I think we need to keep in context. Yeah, I mean, our people are confused. So when you have a person that's Black that is conservative, what's one of the things that they'll disagree with? They're going to disagree with abortion. They're going to disagree with LGBTQ, and anything having to do with that. These are things that they're going to disagree with. Maintaining the family. This is what they're focused on, and these are things that historically liberals, I'm sorry, Democrats, they're not focused on that. They're focused on, yeah, all women should be able to get abortion, no matter what, even though 0.0000001% of the population of women have children that are born of rape. And the vast majority of women who have abortions are because it's not because they were taken advantage of. You see, they these are women that just didn't want the responsibility of having a child, and that's absolutely 100% right. These women are not just random women that just if it is, then it's not. If it is, it's not. Okay, all these women that's going to go get abortions, the majority of them, the vast majority of them, just didn't wrap it up. That simple. And they don't want to deal with the consequences. It's been like that for years in America. So these are the type of things that Democrats fight for. They fight for the rights of LGBT and drag story time hour and putting it in the children's schools and doing all these things they focus on intersections, everything that has nothing to do with Black people. And conservatives, they focus on things that have nothing to do with Black people too. But for Black people who are conservative, well, at least I have family values. That's all it comes down to. And I'll end there.
Yeesh. I appreciate you, Ama. Also, very fiery in her stance as well. Again, if you're just joining in, I am Jacadero filling in for Brother Koku here on Shoot the Breeze, episode 240 on the Bitter Medicine podcast. We're talking about a lot. And our Shoot the Breeze at topic number 2, it asks, do you disagree with her? This woman that you see in the background, she is saying that Black women prefer conservative women, and she was once a Democrat. Now she leans right, hard right, and says that a nuclear family and the family nucleus depends on conservatism, with women submitting and et cetera, et cetera. Brother Bakari joins us on the panel. Brother Bakari, welcome to the show. How are you? And yes, same question. Do you disagree with who you see on the screen?
I absolutely disagree with what she was saying. And I lean more along the line of Black Steel when he says she's getting paid. And I heard Alma say she's not getting. Well, she ain't getting that much money. Yeah, you can pander to black men and say the stuff she's saying and make you some money. She's pandering to somebody saying this because when anybody say the conservative, they're not racist. I think all of them are, and they're not bigots. But you can clearly see what Pete Hegseth wasn't even afraid to say when he didn't when the black woman didn't get her promotion to a one-star general, that Donald Trump wasn't comfortable standing next to a black woman. I don't know what the hell that is. So when we say we are more conservative, what is black people conserving in this part of the world, other than their slave mind? What would black people be conserving? Conserving, you saving. What are we holding on to say we're more like them? And if you're in the conservative party, if you're conservative, that's why black men and black women are getting together, because they're conservative. So when you look to the other side and you can see black men and black women together and they're staying together. So why are they together over there? Black people vote Democrat for any little bit that black people have gotten. And I don't care how people might feel about the civil rights generation, but those people stood for something. And we're on social media and we're talking. But whatever it is, any little thing that black people has ever gotten in this country, we got it from when other people was in charge. Unlike now, you see someone in charge and they want to get rid of Black history. You can look in the state of Florida where universities couldn't even say Black History Month. They passed that law, people getting in trouble for saying Black History Month. So when you say they're not racist, they're not bigots, explain to me what is all this they're doing now. And when you talk about gerrymandering, I know a lot of people say don't vote, but don't vote. So now you have what they call it, taxation without representation. So they're gerrymandering and they're doing it to the South, where over half of the black population live in this country. How can you say they are not? Look what they have done in Tennessee. Just look at all this stuff, but look what they've done in Tennessee. Just go look at all of them and look and see what they have done. They want to erase anything that black people has ever gotten. Anything that black people have ever gotten. What they don't want to, what they were tearing up, what they want to do, get rid of Black history museums. They want to get rid of everything. But we can look and say they're not racist. I think there's a lot of black people that's addicted to, that love to be oppressed. When Lord of Slaughter put in the chat about black people want someone else to control them, there's a lot of black people, I would say, is that way. When you find black people saying the things that she's saying, that's what she wants. Cheryl put in the chat that one of them sugar-coated and the other one don't. Okay, it's okay to say that. I never said the other side wasn't racist. But I can say this, in my little 54 years of living on this earth, I have never heard nobody on the other side grab a microphone and go to talking about if the person they're known governors and Congress, I don't know what they say in private, but I'm talking about publicly, grab a mic and talk about if the person they're with on their side is gonna be a bloodbath, right? So here's the thing for me, right? You can talk about a Democrat, I don't care, shit, my political party is black. But for some strange reason, we can only talk about, and I'm talking, a lot of us only talk about one side, and we can ignore the other side. See, the other side is not in charge now. The conservatives, Republicans, or MAGA is in charge now. And we see how they just want to get rid of black, period. And they don't mind they don't mind letting you know. So to say that's best for us, for me to bow down to people who this guy was talking about, if he win, how he wanted to open up the investigation again for the Central Park 5, who he wanted to get the death penalty in the 80s. And luckily, I'm glad he didn't. But people can brag on the biker gangs and shit they got with them. So she just on there talking, and I agree with Black Steel. And I don't give either side a pass. But since we're talking about that conservative side, there's no need for me to bring up the other side, because we talking about them. But I think I absolutely disagree with her. And on that, I yield the mic.
Can I make a quick distinction?
Please.
So let me just say this. The Democrat Party, as it exists in the United States, is not a leftist party. It is a center-right party. It is not leftist. I think that many times people like to apply that label of leftist to the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party is not a leftist party, right? You don't have a party that supports the military the way that they do and call yourself a leftist. You don't support billionaires the way you do and call yourself a leftist, right? So the Democrat Party is not leftist, but that label has been used against them because people genuinely fear what they don't understand. And the idea of leftism in this country has long been demonized, going back even to prior to the Cold War. So this is kind of what I'm saying. When we say these labels, leftist, right, centrist, conservative, liberal, whatever, Democrats are not leftists. And I think that we have to understand that, first of all, before we move forward. There's nothing about the Democrat Party that is leftist.
Alma, any rebuttals to Black Steel or Brother Bakari?
I just want to get back to her statement. It says Black men prefer conservative women. Is that true or not?
So let me say this. She said Black men prefer conservative women.
I'm not asking whether it's confused, because she's confused. There's no question that she's confused because she doesn't have an ideology in the way that we have an African ideology on this panel.
Agreed.
We already know she's confused. The question is that do Black men prefer conservative women? Yes. No. The answer is yes.
I mean,
the answer is yes.
So let me ask you something.
Ideologically.
So when we talk about conservative, right? Again, we're talking about what do they conserve? There was a study that showed. So what exactly is it about conservative women that Black men prefer? And I'm speaking as a basic thing. I don't know how many Black women you dated, but for myself personally, I don't really judge conservative or non-conservative. But if you come to me and you're spouting this nonsense about conservatism and feminism and all the other stuff, I'm not looking to be head of the household, anything. It's 2026. All right. Everybody got to get in here and pull their weight. I'm sorry. That conservative stuff, that was probably good back in the day. But now, no, baby, you got to get out here. You're going to work too, just like I'm going to work.
Okay, so there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I personally don't feel like that's a problem. But I'm looking at what she's saying, and I'm looking at how men are responding on social media. And I know that's not something, a lot of you are a little older, so you don't really have a real gauge of what she's referring to, and how men who are millennials, men who are Gen Z, how they're actually responding and what they're saying that they want. The stuff that she said is, keep in mind, she's confused, right? She doesn't have an African perspective. But in her little box, what she's looking for, right? What a lot of women are looking for on social media. They are like a lot of women who are conservative, I should say. They're looking for a conservative man, a conservative Christian man, Christian values, valuing the family. It's not just okay, the woman stays at home. That's a part of it. But because of, economic constraints, we have to adjust. But the basis for conservative values, as they deem it, is still marriage is between a man and a woman. That's a big one. Okay. You produce children, you have offspring to carry on your legacy. These are things that they're talking about. You are a man of God. You are a woman of God. You follow the hierarchy. You may have to make some adjustments, but the hierarchy is you still have to follow it, right? These are the things that they're trying to conserve, and the things that they're fighting in society. You got women on social media today, a lot of women, Gen Z, talking about, oh, not only do they not want to have children, we understand when women are like today, they're like, oh, I just don't want to have children. I'm just looking for the right person. I can't find the right person. If I can find the right person, then I can't, um, I don't have the right job, right? I don't have the right this, I don't have the right that economically. That's understandable. But you got women out here that are talking about they hate children. They can't understand why people keep having children. They get mad at people with children. This is the atmosphere that we're dealing with in 2026. And I'm not mad at you guys for not understanding that, but this is what it is right now. And that's why there's so many conversations around this. Okay. Again, this is for us as, Pan-Africanists, as activists, we understand that this is all a little bubble that they live in. But we're like, when you look, because I'm a part of, like, I'm not a part of it, but I see it, I observe it. And you got women that are like, literally, they're in a relationship with a man. This is just an example. They'll get an abortion because, yes, because of economic constraints, but I don't want to be dealing with no child. This is the mindset. We got to look at the mindset. It's not just the economic portion, because some of them are economically sound or good. They don't want to have children because I don't like men. Men are the scum of the universe. Why should I have men? Why should I have children by this man? Because men are the cause of all the problems in the world. These are the mindsets that you're dealing with. You gotta remember that. So when black people are going back and they're like, oh shoot, I gotta go back to this conservatism. That's why you see a lot of women going back to conservatism. It's going to keep flip flopping back and forth depending on what's going on in society right now, right? So right now, people hate children. These women out here, they hate children. They hate to see people with children, all right? The feminist movement makes these women, what's the opposite of conservative? Liberal. They hate these liberal women hate to see families together. They don't want to see it in public. You got to remember this. Like, this is some serious shit. And I've seen so much in person, not just online, but in person. If you go to a campus today, or any campus, women, it's insane. The feminist propaganda and crap studies that they got in these universities has gotten in their heads. I know this because I have a husband who works in the school system. So the stories that he has, oh my God, you would never believe how much these women hate men. So we got to keep in perspective where she's coming from, right? She's young. She's like 25, not even 25. She's younger than that. So this is what we dealing with, right? We keep it in perspective.
Well, for me, right, like, we can say women hate men, and I wouldn't say, if that's true, I wouldn't say it coming from a liberal side. I would say it would come from what a lot of black men have been saying about black women all over social media, and we can ignore that. But for me, I don't see where black girls, young black women, shit, I was just at a university campus, and I was out there with a lot of them after the graduation, and we talking, and people with them. I'm just saying what I saw at this one school, in my limited time being there, the times that I have been there on campus, I don't see the hate that that women have for men. I'm not saying it's not no women, but I'm quite sure if you're around of whatever, because I don't even know what a conservative woman would be. If you're around a conservative black woman, you're gonna find some of them that hate men. See, my thing is, and I was listening to what Cheryl said, we want to put everything on everybody else, right? But we don't ever look and say, damn, like the dude, I hate to even say his name, but Kevin Samuels, he became a hero for shitting on black women. He would bring women from other races on his panel to shit, pardon my French, on black women. We can't blame whatever a black woman decided to say about a black man because black men start following that. Somebody who I looking at him in here and thought was gay. That's just my opinion. And I think he had a reason to hate black women because I think he was gay. But he died with a white woman with cocaine. But anyway, he became a hero for ishing on black women. So then if a black woman says something back, so now then it's the black woman that's to blame, or it's the school, or it's somebody else that taught them that. No. Sometimes we got to say, damn, we did make this dude a hero. What did he do? What was his job on social media? He was somebody being paid to him. So then you had a woman, Cynthia G, and I hate to say that wench's name, that was spewing hate black men, and you had her crew. And what was she doing? She was getting paid to spew hate black men. So you got one person over here became a hero to black men for ishing on black women. And nobody's like, oh, black woman has to be perfect. And then you got the woman over here ishing on black men. Oh, so I guess a black man got to be perfect. You got somebody who's going to follow her and say, abort black male babies, abort black male babies, abort black male babies. And the shit went on for years. And you got this person over here just telling you how horrible black women is. Sometimes it's what we are doing. Sometimes it's what we are doing to cause this confusion amongst us so we can get a dollar. That's why I agree with what Black Steel said. She knows what she's doing. She might not be getting a lot of money yet, but what she's doing, there's money in that, and she would get paid. Sometimes it's us, and we still listen to those people. Me, I turn those people off, right? Didn't nobody send me clips of the dude I was just talking about? After I heard one like him, I wouldn't know the stuff he's saying because he didn't matter to me. If didn't nobody send me clips of the woman I was just talking about, I wouldn't have known what she was saying because she didn't matter to me, because I knew how to turn them off. They didn't mean a damn thing. But sometimes we got to say, you know what? We did sit back and allow, because we watched them. We made them popular. We did sit back and get them paid, and all they did was create division and confusion amongst the black man and the black woman. We, in 2026, have much to do with this, if not more than anything else, because of what, and it's not just them talking, it's us following, it's us listening, it's us tuning in, it's us making them stars. And can't nobody ever tell me what did they do other than talk negative about the other sex? What did they do? That's it. The Thomas Sotomayors of the world, them other folks call themselves the new black media, whatever. They become stars. You got somebody people follow around who tell you the best woman for you to get is a mixed woman, but a mixed woman with a white mother, because it doesn't make a difference her social class. A white mother is a better mother than a black woman. This coming from some black dude who did them Hidden Colors. So when we follow these people, it ain't always them. Sometimes we got to look and say, you know what, we got to cut them off. We got to cut them off. We got to keep them away from our children. We have to keep them away from our youth. Nobody else. That's mine. Oh, yeah, mate.
So let me say this, Bakari. I think that the demonization of black men and black women goes back way before Kevin Samuels, way before Cynthia G. It goes all the way back to the plantation. And even after slavery, the black man was viewed as a brute, the black brute, the black rapist, the black. That's why that was the whole reason behind lynchings. That the black man was, he would be exposed to the black woman and to the white woman, and he couldn't help but rape her. Right? The black man was biologically designed to rape. That was the whole reason behind, coming up with things like the segregation and Jim Crow, was to keep the races separate because black men could not control themselves. And the same thing was said about the black woman, that it was impossible to physically assault or sexually assault a black woman because black women are naturally promiscuous. These are the type of things that were said about black people even before the internet. So I think that these internet people, they get online and, what's happening is that they're just regurgitating the type of ideas that have become so prevalent in our society. Speaking of what Cheryl was saying about men want somebody who's conservative, right? I agree I agree, because if you listen to what a lot of women say, as you said, they want somebody who, who's God-fearing, who, is a provider, right? These are all very conservative views. So she's absolutely correct in that. But I think that just kind of what she's saying about, again, I don't believe the Democrat Party is a conservative party or is a leftist or a liberal party. They're very center right if you look at their ideology. But the reason we're not listening to her, to answer Koku in the chat, is because she's fundamentally incorrect. First of all, she's tying Democrats with leftism, which is incorrect. Second of all, she's trying to say that black people, because we vote a certain way politically, that influences our behavior, right? I don't know the stats on abortion. I don't know, to take down the reasons or whatnot. All I know is this: people gonna have abortions no matter what laws you pass. They always have and they always will, right? When people feel like they're pregnant, they can't take care of a child, they don't want to have support from the other person, from the parent, then they feel they do what they got to do. Making abortion safe, that was something that was pushed with Roe v. Wade, because at the end of, and part of that is because women were dying from abortion. They were trying to have abortion with the co-hangers. They were dying. And the thing about pissing me off about the conservatives, right? When they say they want to stop abortion, right? They're not pro-life, they're pro-birth. Because once that child is born, I think I said this before, fuck them kids, right? They want to cut every possible support. They want to cut housing vouchers. They want to cut food stamps. Once they want you to carry the baby, but once that baby's here, all right, figure it out. So to me, the conservatives say one thing and do another. If you want to stop women from having abortions, why don't you make it so it's easier to raise a child? Well, I don't ever see them supporting extended family leave. I don't see them supporting lowering the cost of daycare expenses, making things more affordable, bringing down the cost of housing, for example, which is out of control in this country, right? They don't want to do anything to make your life better. Everything is about rugged individualism. And let's be honest, it's not rugged individualism for them, for the wealthy. For the wealthy, it's socialism, but it's rugged individualism for everybody else. Everybody else got to get it out the mud as best they can. So when we talk about, okay, we don't want women to have abortions, but at the same time, these conservatives are doing everything possible to make life harder for you. So it's any wonder that these young women don't want to have kids, because they can't afford a home, You go to college for all these years and you can't even get a job when you get out. AI is replacing everything. So these conservatives are out of touch with reality, and they're pathological liars. Because if you're so concerned about the young people being born, why is it that you cut for you in support for school lunch, right? Why is it that you want to limit the amount of money that people can get for student loans, so they can't even go to school and decide to work hard and get another career? You want to cap the funding for them. Everything these conservatives do is to make your life harder. So I'll go ahead and show you guys something to say. I done spoke long enough. Let me take this dog out for you piss in the house.
Yeah, I was just going to say real quick. It's a little bit off topic, but um, I do agree with Black Steel when he says that people don't want to have children because of the economy. That makes sense. That makes total sense. They don't want to have children because they can't afford a house, can't do this, can't afford that, blah, blah, whatever. We understand. We understand that, you know. And even though historically people have had children, even though the economic situation has never been the best, especially for Black people in this country, there is another component. While I do agree with Black Steel, there is another component to this. A guy that I don't really agree with. So this is what I do. I like to listen to people that I don't agree with, because it's good to have an understanding of other people's perspectives and understand why. So there's a guy, you may not know of him, you may know of him. His name is Steven Crowder. He did a Change My Mind for abortion. And the argument was that children should not be the fetus is a fetus is alive, and that um, from the moment a woman says I'm pregnant, the fetus is alive, right? It's no matter if it's just what some would say a clump of cells, whatever, what have you. Now, there are instances where people have had to have abortions because of extenuating circumstances. And I think most people would say, well, okay, that makes sense, maybe the child didn't form all the way, maybe there was a birth defect, maybe there was a rape, which only accounts, and this is why statistics are important. it- the birth of a child through rape is only 0.000. It's a very small, extremely small a number, and this is why statistics are very important. Okay, so aside from that, um, there was a change your mind, and he went on campus as he normally does. He goes on campus and he asked, the students, what are their opinions on abortion? And a lot of the students, a vast majority of them, was very concerning, said that when a woman announces that she's pregnant, that means that it's just a clump of cells, uh, and it's not a person. So therefore it can be aborted. Okay. Okay. So a lot of people believe that. And he asked, okay, so up to what month should a child be aborted? What's the cutoff? They said, many of them said 8 to 9 months. And their reasoning was because it's not born yet. Some people said 6 months, and he questioned them on each stage. Well, what's the reason? Oh, because uh, some people said for the people who believe that the child should be aborted right away, you can be aborted at 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. They're just a clump of cells. And some people argue that, okay, well, they shouldn't be aborted until they have a heartbeat. So at various different stages, this is what the mind of the average Western person thinks in 2026. Well, that wasn't even 2026. Okay, that was like 20 before the pandemic, 2016 or something like that. So I guess the point is that you have a lot of millennials and Gen Z that don't even they don't have the value of life that you do when they're making these decisions. And this is why it's important to really listen to what people like her are saying, because this is what this generation is thinking. And so we're getting back to what Bakari is saying, the influence that social media, we cannot discount the influence that social media has on children and on young adults. It's immense, it's impactful, and we need to pay attention. We can't just say, oh, she's crazy, you know, she's just a crazy conservative, blah, 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 because it points to a deeper issue. And the issue lies in the institutions, and it lies in the platforms that kids are on. Like it really is having an impact. It's definitely a generational thing. Like I'm not mad at what Bakari is saying, because what he's saying is what I agree with. I would just cut it off. I would just cut off the social media. I don't need to be on Instagram. I don't have to showcase my life 24/7 on Instagram. But this is the world that these kids are growing up in. So as bad as it was during your generation, if you're a baby boomer, if you're Gen X, it's 10 times worse because you have social media, and the effects of social media on children and young adults is immense. We cannot ignore that. You can't just say, well, they just need to get off of it. It's not that simple. There's levels to this, and we need to find more creative ways to reach these children. And it's difficult when you have people who are set in their ways and they don't really want to, they don't know how. I don't want to say they don't want to, but they don't know how to um, create a solution. But the solution is not having your children on social media so much, because it's it turns your brain to mush, as you can see with this girl here. But it's a desperate cry for help, to be honest, because this is the environment that social media has created. So I just want everybody to just keep that in mind.
I think you know what, Cheryl? I think the problem is deeper than social media. Um, the problem, the reason why young people don't want to have kids, right? There's something that some of the young people do. They call it doom scrolling. I don't know if you're familiar with the term doom scrolling, where they go online, they scroll, and they see everything bad about the world. I think the problem is it not so is social media is I think is a symptom of a larger problem, which is late stage capitalism, right? And the people have basically given in. The average person is giving up. They're in a sense of despair, right? They don't feel that they can do anything to make the world better, right? So why have kids? Why bring a child into this fucked up world? So, like you said, we've had children under worse circumstances. We've had lives under worse circumstances, but we had community, we had family, we had each other, right? Black people, we've always been all we had, no matter what political party. Back when the Whigs and the Know Nothings and all these other political parties that ain't even around, Black people was going through it but we had each other. We still reproduced, we still built families, we still built connections, right? And like Bakari was saying, like other people are saying, right? These people get online, they say Black men are evil, Black women are evil. How do you build family? Black people could not survive without each other. So I think the problem is just how me putting on my leftist communist hat. Shout out to Buana, who's not here tonight, right? Get my all workers of the world ideology. The way that capitalism has atomized society, it has destroyed the social bonds that built us together. So these young people come into the world, of course they're going to say, I hate men, because men are the problem because of the patriarchy, quote unquote. I hate women. Women are the problem because they don't want to fuck me. You know, they're killing the kids. But overall, people are literally coming. They cannot envision a world where things get better. So what the social media is reflecting is the larger attitude of that how did Huey Newton say it? Reactionary suicide, right? They've already committed themselves to giving up, and they don't see a better world. So why have kids? Just travel and live your life and be happy. Because by the end of the day, how did they say in Shakespeare? Eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we die. Right? And that's the YOLO. You only live once. FOMO, fear of missing out. These ideas have infiltrated the culture in the West, not so much in outside of the Western European ideology, but we still see, Africans and other people who building family formations and whatnot. But I think it's the overall dominance of late stage capitalism, the alienation that we all feel from each other. We're always talking about a loneliness epidemic, right? Loneliness. And then one frame it as a male loneliness epidemic. Women are lonely too, because people have been so focused on working and trying to survive when you need multiple incomes and have to work multiple jobs, right? To survive. So I think that's kind of where these thought processes come out about, we don't have the kid because when the kid's born, life is gonna suck, and my life sucks, and why would I bring a child into this world? It's the absence of believing that you can make changes to make this world a better place.
Here's my thing, right? Like when Cheryl say some people don't want, you know what? Now, from my experience, the people who out here don't like kids a damn. It's not the young ones. But for me, man, I've been telling my kids, man, look, I need grandkids. I sometimes it's what you can teach at home too. I tell my kids, I've been telling them, I want grandkids. Shit, my kids know. I told all my kids, give me 7 grandkids apiece. I'll be happy. My oldest got 5 right now. Man, my other 2 don't have none yet. That's good. They ain't
damn.
They ain't married. But my son and his girlfriend he just graduated with, they probably will soon be within the next year anyway. Probably married. So I think a way for us to get our children away from that, and I know people on the panel, we know how we have to talk to our children, but I think we need to start teaching, So when your kids out and they hearing that, your kids have some words. Our kids have words they can fight back with and explain the beauty of a family and why you shouldn't just hate kids. Because I'm not saying Shirley's wrong, because I don't know what she's been around, and she probably have seen that. But from my experience, it's been older. I don't want to be around no kids. My kids grown. I don't want no kids. From my experience, that's men. I made it with the woman voice, but that's men and women. From my experience, but we have to start talking to our kids. I understand what they might be teaching in college, but we can't because I tell people all the time, school ain't just, that ain't your first education gonna start at home. What are we gonna teach our kids? We can't let them have them. We can't let them have them. Like Cheryl keeps saying, she confused. Yeah, but she's saying confused stuff. We can't let them have them. We cannot let these people have our kids no more. They have taken everything from us. They can't take the next generation that's going to come up after us. We got to be willing to kill for the ones coming after us. That's what we really have to be willing to do, because these people, they are willing to take our life to make sure they have control of everything they want to have control of. We got to be willing to do everything for the next generation.
All
Yeah,
right.
oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Amma. Go ahead.
Hey, let me say this
I
right
don't
quick.
want to take too long.
Let me say this right quick. Let me say, please. A lot of slaughter, you are correct. We are behind enemy lines. So that means we need to be getting information, figuring out how to defeat them and get away.
Man, Brother Bakari, appreciate it. Go ahead, Amma.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, like, for Bakari, like Black Steel 2, made a couple good points. But Bakari, when you're saying things like, um, you know, I want some grandchildren. We're getting to the stage, um, like in society where, like, like my generation, like I'll be 40 before the year is out. I mean, before the decade is out. So, like my generation and after, maybe not me, because I'm millennial, but I'm like in the middle of the road millennial. Like maybe like the later millennials and the Gen Z, they are projected to be the loneliest generation in history because not only do they not want children, when they have the means to have children, they choose not to because they don't want the responsibility and don't even talk about having grandchildren. They don't even want to conceive of that. They are the last, like the majority of them that have fallen into this trap, they're the last of their generation. And a lot of them, even the like the Gen Zs that my husband talks about in class, a lot of them are suffering like it's like exponential suicide, depression. I mean, it's more than obviously that makes sense after the pandemic, but it's just all the things that they're presented with about starting a family. I mean, to an extent, our black people, I mean, our people have always been encouraged to, go get that job, go, if you live in the inner city, it's go get that job, don't worry about your family later. That's what the majority of us grew up on, especially during the Obama administration. Um, so like it's to the point now where like they're not going to have grandchildren and it creates a sense of loneliness. And I know a lot of people are like, well, I'm not lonely. I'm living my best life. I can travel. I can do this. Da, 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 da. That's great until you hit 50 and 60 and you don't got nobody to take care of you. And I'm not saying and then their argument, because I've talked to people like this. Their argument is, well, I don't want to just have kids just to have them take care of me. That's a stupid reason. And I'm just like, they missed the whole point. The whole point is community. But they don't see community because the West has put this spell on them. So it's like they'd rather be lonely and miserable and suicidal than have a family and community. Okay. So this is what we're dealing with nowadays. Like it's not just people saying, I just don't want to have kids. It's because of the economy. These are people that are committed. Young people are committed to not having children until they hit a certain age and they're lonely and they're bitter. I've seen a couple who they're 60 now. A couple of them they did not just choose not to have children. They didn't want children. They like a couple of people, but this and they're probably like Gen Xers, but it's ramped up now because by the time Gen Z hits 60, it's gonna be awful. It's gonna be so bad. So I just wanted to say that, and I'm done.
All right. Woo! I appreciate, man, each and every one of our panelists so far. We got one new panelist. I'm hoping that he got a chance to hear the video to refer to. Again, the still pictures on the background of the screen. Again, if you're just joining in, you are listening to the voice of Jacadero filling in for Brother Koku. And I'm proud to do it here on Shoot the Breeze episode 240 on the Bitter Medicine podcast. I can first welcome to Shoot the Breeze episode 240. How are you? Hope you're well. And also, did you get a chance to become familiar with Shoot the Breeze topic number 2 with Do You Disagree with her on screen?
What's going on, Jack? And respect to Koku, wherever you are. Respect to your name also. Anyway, no, I didn't get what she said, but I get the gist. She's conservative, I think. And I do agree that Black women would do better being conservative. And I'm not speaking about vote. I'm speaking about a conservative living, what you'd call a modest living, you feel me? Instead of trifling, whoremonger living with no rules when it comes to liberalism. You feel me? So I'm tired of seeing a whole bunch of lesbians, feel me, along with their homo friends. I'm tired of all of that stuff. You feel me? Because and it's being promoted. These things are not something that's naturally and occurring. It's promoting. It is a globe. A lot of us don't understand that there's a global agenda of depopulation, and they have a wide range of ways to do so, like plastic beef, plastic cheese, uh lab grown diamonds to eat, all that stuff. You feel me? Anyway, I mean beef. Anyway, so what I'm trying to say to my people is we have to be mindful of thinking that we are normally thinking. We can't just think and be like, oh, this is my normal thought. No, 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 no. Unless you created the world before you was born and you know what was in it before you was born. But most of the time, all of us was born in a world that has already been going on. So we have to understand that we are babies to a lot of stuff. You feel me? If you me, America is 200 years old. That's so much generations of us, and so much, and they have so much like stealing. There is no type of stealing we can do to outsmart the United States and white people. They are the masters of these things. Neither murder. You feel me? We can't overwhelm their thoughts on these things. We can't like shock them in none of these things. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. All of these things, they have already done it and mastered it. Wickedness. So I don't agree with abortions. Of course, I don't agree with the policy of the living. See me? As I said, the agenda is depopulation and whatever way possible. Now, me personally, I think if you really have a functional society, I think that guaranteeing the welfare and the development of men and boys would guarantee a stable society. This whole talk about woman this, woman that, I think it's a whole bunch of bullshit. You feel me? Because there's no survival of the woman without the man. I think it's almost impossible. So I think that the society, I think that men are, because we are the protectors, we are like, it's like dinner, right? This we have one plate of food and the woman is pregnant, so we not gonna eat. We gonna make the woman eat. Because she needs to be healthy. And these are the things that's overwhelming us as men. That we don't understand that we actually giving away too much of our food and not dealing with our own sustenance. And without us, they can't survive. In which, what I mean is, look, you have America, right? And this is the beginning of the promotion of what's going on around the world in terms of the Westminster system, the government system, right? So we have America, right? And what they're doing is extra facilitating for the woman. So we build they build the luxury and all that stuff for the woman and all. Now they're giving her what you call legislation power and all that stuff. And what she's doing is spoiling things because she's selfish. Now, if you give the man welfare, if you give the man food stamp, you give, because this is how I think a balanced society would be. The boy becomes 18. You make sure he's going to trade school or college, and you finance him. Also, you give him food stamps. Also, you give him housing. You feel me? A boy of 19, 20, 21, you give him housing, you give him food stamp. So what that does now is, I think he would be more responsible with these welfare systems for his development, and not just his development, for the person he chooses to be his wife. So this is how the balance come in now. Now he's a housed individual. Now he's going to take a woman out of their father's house, who maybe was housed by the government. Anyway, right here. So what happened now is, he can take care of her if she's pregnant. Also, he getting jobs, and the system is adopting him for his welfare and his development. So he gonna get jobs to, you feel me, maybe pay for the house and all that stuff. So what gonna happen is, now she don't have the independence to just leave. If you should have made the choice not to marry him, but if you made the choice to marry him, you can't just freely leave, because you had a choice not to marry him. So you all have a family in which he is the main, even the government is assisting him to be the main facilitator of security, whether financial security or food security, or just dominant security. And there you will have a society. Of course, when it comes to, I think there would be less even domestic DV. You feel me? I think, and even there could be apparatus for that too. But I think that would be because therefore, once the men are taken care of, all the women in the society is taken care of. And that's how I see a balanced society. What I see now is a whole destruction of chemistry and balance. You feel me? A woman don't even love a man no more, because she thinks she can do what he can do, even though it's a man that provide the society and build the goddamn city that giving her so much luxury. But thank you.
I appreciate it. Any rebuttals to ICANN or any?
No, let's move on to the next topic, please. That again, Black Deer.
All right. Once again, if you are hearing my voice and you're confused, I am Jacadero, filling in for Brother Koku here on Shoot the Breeze, episode 240 on the Bitter Medicine podcast. We are dissecting our thoughts and our perspectives on each topic. Let's get to the next topic at hand. Shoot the Breeze topic number 3 deals with a guy that, if you're familiar with this show, you've seen time and time again. He's a disruptor. He's a frustrator. He goes by the name of Zanu. And we ask, he strikes again, or is he right this time? This comes with a video, and this might trigger, this might not, but that's the reason on why that's the reason on why we're gonna have our
You on a roll tonight, Jacadero, ain't you? You on a roll tonight. Okay, I'll be quiet.
There's a reason.
Let's go. No chance for the liberals.
Guys, we're on the next topic. Again, shoot the breeze. Topic number 3: Zanu strikes again, or is he right this time? This comes to us with the video from Instagram. Let's take a look. Let me know what your guys' thoughts. Let's take a look.
Created that name white supremacy.
That's correct. From Africa, because we are just amazed by the things they've done. Well, we describe them always by inventions. That's all. They can command water from far away through tubes into their bedrooms. We can even fetch a bucket of water from the next lake. You will be drowned. They can put electricity. We never had one in Africa. They have airplanes fly over us. It's amazing. Everything they've done is the reason my people say these people are superior, not because of slavery. They came to colonize us and they brought things we have never seen before. They gave a king a mirror and he was dancing and sold his people away. They brought guns we have never seen, boom, and killed somebody right away. You know what they used to do in the Congo?
Right.
They put dynamite in the rocks and then they hide the switch. And then when they point their finger, it go boom. And the Congolese till today, they call the white man kiboom, the sound of the dynamite. And then they go down and they go like this. If they're not superior, why do you see every picture when the white men arrive in Africa, we're bowing to them? We have never seen a gun kill a human being. We have never seen a mirror. We have never seen a radio tune in and somebody speaking from England, the Queen's voice. So for us, all these things, these people must be really superior and close to God. They used to have a joke in Ghana that when God said, let's pray, the white man opened his eyes. The black people were covering his eyes. So the white man saw how God created the world. That's why they are so good at what they do. And I'm telling you, these are folklores from which we grew up. If anyone told you that white people came to Africa to tell us they're superior, it's a lie. They never said that.
You're saying black folks created that name white supremacy.
That's correct. From Africa, because we are just amazed by the things they've done. Well, we describe them always by inventions. That's all. They can command water from far away through tubes into their bedrooms. We can even fetch a bucket of water from the next lake. You will be drowned. They can put electricity. We never had one in Africa. They have airplanes fly over us. It's amazing. Everything they've done is the reason my people say these people are superior, not because of slavery. They came to colonize us and they brought things we have never seen before. They gave a king a mirror and he was dancing and sold his people away. They brought guns we have never seen, boom, and killed somebody right away. You know what they used to do in the Congo?
Right.
They put dynamite in the rocks and then they hide the switch. And then when they point their finger, it go boom. And the Congolese till today, they call the white man kiboom, the sound of the dynamite. And then they go down and they go like this. If they're not superior, why do you see every picture when the white men arrive in Africa, we're bowing to them? We have never seen a gun kill a human being.
You're going to repeat that? You're going to repeat that, boss man?
We have never seen a radio tune in and somebody speaking from England, the Queen's voice. So for us, all these things, these people must be really superior and close to God. They used to have a joke in Ghana that when God said, let's pray, the white man opened his eyes.
Dear, you're not going to stop this, Negro.
The world. That's why they are so good at what they do. And I'm telling you, these are folklores from which we grew up. If anyone told you that white people came to Africa to tell us they're superior, it's a lie. They never said that.
Did you want me to replay that once again?
No, man. Shit, no.
Okay, all right. Once again, I am Jacadero filling in for Brother Koku. An honor to fill in for Brother Koku here on Shoot the Breeze, episode 240 on the Better Medicine podcast. This is a Shoot the Breeze topic number 3, and we ask Zanu strikes again, or is he right this time? Zanu being this Ghanaian economist, and his ability to be controversial each and every time that he gets on a podcast. You guys heard it. You guys saw the words on the captions. Let's start off with Amma. Ladies first. Come on, we're chivalrous. As African men, we do what we can for the ladies. And lady, Amma, what say you? Is strike again? Is he right this time? Let us know your thoughts.
I feel like there may be a language barrier, or maybe there's not. But I thought I heard him say white, our black people, I guess in Africa, they see white people as superior, not because of slavery, but because of the bombs and the things that they do. And he gave an example of the dynamite and the sound, and that they associate the sound with white people. I get the reference. It makes sense. It's like a form of trauma. I get it. But to say that they don't think that they're superior because of the slavery, it makes me want to like look into him a little bit more and see what else he has to say about slavery itself. Because it's coming off like he's the type of guy that thinks that slavery did not have an impact on his people or black people in general, and that the impact wasn't so much that it should hinder us or stop us from doing the things that we have to do as a people. It's a little bit of a downplaying of slavery and its effects. And I hope that's not what he's saying, but it sounds like that. And if it is that, I mean, it makes sense coming from a continental because they like generally they think that they think to themselves, I didn't go through slavery. My ancestors, my mother, my father, my generations for the past 200 years maybe might have went through slavery. So therefore, slavery is not as bad as all these black people are saying. But it sounds very pointed. It sounds very specific, and he's not really speaking to the whole or the majority of black people. Maybe just an incident that happened in his village or that has happened in many villages in Africa, or in their exposure to white people. But I hope that's not what he's saying, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's his view on slavery. It's unfortunate, but
Woo! Hey, I appreciate it. This this gentleman can be interesting at times. Speaking of interesting, the comment section has been interesting to say the least. Black Steel says he's never been right a day in his life. Zano, I don't know if you watched the show, but Black Steel is not a fan. Koku says they did use magic tricks to daze and confuse our continental ancestors. That can have an effect, Koku 911 says. Cheryl also adds, he says his people see whites as superior, not because of slavery, but because of bombs. And Trigger Happy corrects me. He's not Ghanaian, but from Benin, from what he can remember. And Koku says, yeah, he's from Benin. Black Steel adds, for Zanu, I'll make an exception and call ICE. The thing is, I don't know if Mr. George, Mr. George is in the United States. I believe that he resides in London, England. I could be wrong, but who knows? Maybe the chat will let me know. Speaking of the chat and the panel overall, let's welcome in a new panelist, Lord of Slaughter. Welcome to Shoot the Breeze episode 240. How are you?
What's good, man?
Yeah, and what say you? Is this guy right?
Comment for Lord of Slaughter. Have you ever been on the panel before?
Yeah, it's been a while though.
Okay, well, welcome, brother. Long time to hear from you.
What's up, man? What's up? But no, man, man. See, I don't get on the panel a lot because I cuss like all the time. But I'm gonna try to keep it, But no, he wrong, man. He talking about planes flying over and bombs and all that. Like, first of all, everybody didn't come from the same place. Like, my ancestry goes back to Mali, and he came from Benin, and Benin had like the Great Walls, great cities and stuff. I know the history of Benin. If he knows his own history, did no white man show up out doing what the Africans were already doing in Africa? He's just lying. He's kissing ass to get money, man. I ain't really got a lot to say about that dude because he's a piece of shit. So I'll let somebody else do the talking on that, man.
Lord of Slaughter, I appreciate it, and thank you for coming back. And don't worry about cussing. Black Steel does it all the time whenever he's triggered. And Black Steel, you've already said a little bit of your perspective on Mr. Zanu speaking his mind on how white supremacy comes from Africa and his evidence of it. What say you? He strikes again, or is he right this time?
He's dumb as fuck. I can't stand this guy. I can't stand this guy. I really cannot. Every time I see him, my ass itches, okay? Maybe I need to see the doctor. But I cannot stand this dude, man. So let's go back, right? Let's go back. Let's take it back. Let's take a little trip down memory lane, okay? The ideas of white supremacy, right? White superiority, right? They go back to antiquity, right? Even prior to the transatlantic slave trade. You know, you had some of the ancient Greeks who were talking about the inferiority of dark-skinned people, right? But it really comes out of the ma'afa and the desire to basically enslave African people. And when you enslave a person or when you brutalize a person, the first thing you have to do is dehumanize them. You have to make them less than. So initially, there's a good book by a Franciscan friar, Spanish Franciscan friar, named Bartholomew de las Casas. He talks about the how the indigenous people of the Americas, the Taino, were enslaved by the Spanish and how they sickened and died under the treatment. So he recommended that they would go to Africa and enslave the Africans. His belief was that Africans were able to better withstand the conditions of enslavement. He said that one African, one Negro was as strong as 4 Indians. That was his idea. So they started to begin the large, wide-scale enslavement of African people across the Atlantic. But to justify this, these people then become inferior. We are superior, and we are justified for various reasons. One, because they're inferior. One, because they're mentally weaker than we are. One, because they're the children of Ham, and God is cursing them. You know, we have all type of justifications for the enslavement of African people, right? It has nothing to do with their quote unquote technological superiority, because, to be honest, this technological superiority did not exist before the Industrial Revolution. So that's why Europeans were mainly limited to the coastal areas, because they could not go into the interior of Africa, named partially because diseases. There's the Gulf of Benin, the Bight of Benin, is called the white man's grave for that exact reason. Because the idea, it was a saying among sailors: beware, beware the Bight of Benin. And then basically, however many goes in, only one comes out, because of the violence. These Africans were not passively allowing Europeans to enslave them. They were fighters. They did not have the technological advantage that they quote unquote had prior to the Industrial Revolution. Then you start to see things like Gatling guns, machine guns, heavy weaponry, cannons, all that other stuff that the Africans did not have. But the ideas of white people being superior did not come from Africans, right? They created these ideas to justify their enslavement of African people, not just their African people, but their mistreatment of every other non-white person on earth. There's a term, it's so fun. We were talking about imperialism in class the other day. It's called the white man's burden, right? That the white man, the European, had the responsibility to civilize the weaker, the darker races of the world, right? And it was a poem written by an Englishman named Rudyard Kipling. He also wrote the Jungle Book as well. But in it, he talks about the need to civilize, and that colonial and colonization and imperialism were actually good things, because the white man who is superior, again, this is before they started blowing dynamite and bombs. The white man is superior, and it is our responsibility. Take up the white man's burden, is what he called it. So when the Europeans, when the British and the French and the Portuguese were in Africa, when the Americans were in the Philippines, colonizing them, when they took over Hawaii, these were all requirements of the white man's burden to civilize them, because in the Europeans' mind, they are superior, right? So what this dude is talking about is, again, he's such a liar. You know what? I don't want to call him a liar, right? Because I don't know. Maybe he's just ignorant. Maybe he doesn't know this history. And I see the people who he has on who he talks to, they never challenge him, right? They always follow and say whatever. Oh, yeah, whatever, right? So they see, thank you, Sheriff. They see us as children. So the idea of the civilizing mission of the white man comes from white supremacy, which is not something that Africans created. Even in, for example, during World War II, right, a lot of American, British, Australian pilots were in New Guinea, Papua New Guinea. And, you know, a lot of these people in New Guinea, they saw the American stuff, and you know, they started what they call cargo cults, right? And they started worshiping the cargo, what the Europeans may have brought in. So he could have said that, but I'm pretty sure he's not familiar with the cargo cults of New Guinea. But again, the European came up with the idea of them being superior to justify their mistreatment of us, of every non-white person they ran across. And even, even white people. So even the people who we would look at and call them white, right? The white man's quote unquote hatred has never just been restricted to just black people and Native Americans and brown and Indian. They hate everybody. You got a different language, fuck you. You worship God differently, fuck you. You make the sign of the cross with 3 fingers instead of 2, fuck you, you going to hell. So, you know, the problem has never been us. It's their pathological culture which has created these types of ideologies. I'll stop there. I'll pass it on. Thank you.
You see, Lord of Slaughter, you see what I said about the cursing thing? You don't have to worry about it because black still always
let me
takes
say a little something before you go to the next panelist.
Yeah, go ahead.
I agree with him right there, man, because like it's ridiculous when you got somebody to get up there and fucking say stupid shit like that, because what plane was flying around in like before 1492 and shit? Like planes flying over, oh man, they so good. Come on, man. That dude, but see, he needs to exist because he also keeps people like Trump as stupid as Trump is. Like the way Trump went over and thought he was just going to blow up the Ayatollah and the war was going to be over. Because he's dumb. He thinks people is, you know, like inferior. And now he's got his ass in this shit and he can't fucking get out of it. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's it. That's all I wanted to say.
I appreciate it, Lord of Slaughter. I can. What say you? Did Mr. Zanu here, was he cooking? I mean, I'm just paraphrasing here the Shoot the Breeze question, but is he right or is he wrong?
Well, thank you, man. Hey, listen, man. This guy is no different from the Africans that is doing terrorism in the Sahel. If you mean, he's just he's the same thing. Let me tell you something. Let me let this pass for a minute. All right, look here. Africans that come from the colonized region, I don't really listen to them too much. No, I don't really be listening to them too much. You have to be saying the names of some prophets for me to have any respect for you. If you ain't following none of the prophets, none of the great historians of the black world, you cannot, you're an idiot. You're a fool. You feel me? Because it's like you have been transformed into the 1/3 of a human. You feel me? Because that's what's going on. It's like this is how Christians behave. And maybe Muslims too. They tell you they tell you your lifestyle is going to destroy you. But what they do is make sure you are destroyed. And that's how white people is. They tell you you're 3/5 of a human, but what they do is try to make sure you are put in that position. So you see what they're talking about. You feel me? So this guy is his theoretical or metaphysical balls has been canceled out. He don't have no fight. Yeah, he don't have no fight in him. You feel me? He's a white lover. He's a black hater. You can see what he is. He's someone who sees blacks as unimportant. You feel me? And that's how he thinks. So he's not here. He's a pompous Negro too. You feel me? Very pompous. Yeah, I don't want to talk about how he act, but you can see he's 1/3 of a human, and he is displaying activities of a intellectual colonized person. You feel me? One who's on a wrong road and maintains that road, thinking that he's like a terrorist. You feel me? Intellectual terrorist. No different from these people that be killing people, because he kills he killed spirits. You feel me? His country, because he's from Benin City. He's from Nigeria. He's not from really Benin. He's from Nigeria. Both countries, Benin and Nigeria, are two terrorist countries. He's a kidnapper. He's trying to kidnap people's brains for the white man. You feel me? That's where he comes from. Listen, Nigeria is the most tormented place in the world right now. Tormented. The people are taught to be anti-Pan-Africanist. They are taught to be anti-black. Now imagine, the Muslims are anti-black. They are pro-Arab. The black people in it, the black Southerners. He's a Southerner. They are Christians, pro-white, Jesus Christians. So what that does is it destroy everything black. So it's a whole tormented region of pro-white, pro-Arab, and anti-black people. And there's 230 million of them. It's terrible. He's just one of them. Imagine all of them. Almost 90% of Nigeria is just like him. All right, that's where I'm ending it, because speaking about this dude is like hopelessness. Go ahead.
We've had a lot of curse words describing Zanu here, from ass itch to I think I can mention something about balls. Koku 911 says, Devil's Advocate, he is discussing documented things that the enslavers did, but he is using it to make us look historically dumb. Brother Bakari, what say you? Was that Brother Zanu, was he cooking, or is he just completely off?
I'll say he's off, but I do believe that there's a lot of black people that believe white people are superior to them. And this is why I say words have power. This is why I don't ever use the term white supremacy. I would never use the term white and supreme together. Not as a representation of white people. I don't give a damn what they want to do or how they feel. I would never use those two words together. And that's me. I ain't telling nobody to do what I do. But I think words have power. But when I say I do think there's some black people that believe white people are superior, me and a brother of mine had this conversation, and we always talk about, have y'all ever been around any of the black people and we say, well, let's do this so we can start building, right? And it's some black people, as soon as you say, no, but if you do that, they're going to do this. No, we can't do that. They ain't going to let us do that. We like children. Now, see, every time we try to build something, they come blow it up. That's why we focus on Tulsa, Oklahoma all the time. We do believe they're superior. And I'm not saying don't focus on Tulsa, Oklahoma, but we never focus. I never hear nobody talk about none of the victories that we did have. And there's very few people talk about the victories that we did have. We'll see where they say we invented something. That's good. And I ain't knocking that. But we never talk about victories that we did have where we fought back. Never. That's why I always suggest to people, read just a book. A couple of them. Negroes with Guns and We Will Shoot Back. And we can see some of the victories that we have. So in my opinion, do I agree with Zanu? No. But do I believe that there's a lot of black people today that believe white people are superior? I would say yes. That's why even in their imagination, even in our imagination, a lot of the time, we can't win in our imagination, because in our imagination, if you're writing a book or you're doing a story, in the end, we lose. And I use just the story Dead Presidents, for example, or the story with what the women, I can't think, Set It Off, where Queen Latifah them was robbing banks. They got caught. We can't beat the system in our imagination. So if the majority of us lose in our imagination, how can we say that there's a lot of us that don't believe they are superior? Zanu believed they are superior. That's why he talked about how they can put down pipes and have water run to the house, and we can barely go get a bucket of water from the river. See, there's a lot of things that has happened. See, they have taken our brain, right? And today, like a lot of times, we don't think we can do something unless they come. We waiting on somebody to come do it for us. And all of these are opinion. This is my opinion. But for me, when we hear the term white and supreme together, we can say that's not what we are saying. But words have meaning, and the root word to supremacist is supreme. They believe they are supreme. They should have that right. Like Black Steel said, we are the superior ones. I believe we're supreme. So since I don't believe in white supremacy, I believe in black supremacy. But I do believe there's a lot of our people that believe they're superior. On that, I yield the mic.
All right. I think I got every panelist. Please let me know if any of our panelists here didn't get a chance to have their remarks on Zanu's statements on white supremacy and everything else that he said. Me personally, this guy he's the African Charleston White. When I say that, I mean in the context of, I believe that he's certainly just trying to just get views. Do I think that he's meaning well? I don't know. I can't tell. I honestly can't tell with this guy. I've been watching this guy for about 2 years now, and me personally, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we get him here on Shoot the Breeze, and maybe we get to ask some of these questions like, what's up with you, my guy? Huh? Well, with that being said, it doesn't sound like anybody had any objections. It didn't sound like anybody disagreed as far as our panelists go. So we can get into our next topic. It's Shoot the Breeze topic number 4. Before we get into that, let's see if there's any. See if there's anything else. Shell says, if he has a white wife, well, there you go. If he does, then maybe he believes in all of this.
That's
I
a
don't
kiss
know.
of death right there. That's a kiss of death, not a white woman. Well, we're cooked.
That's the surefire way to know.
Shoot the breeze topic number 4. If this was your wife or mother of your child, what would you do? So we go to Instagram for this video clip. To set this up, family took a road trip, and their child took a violent turn against his own mother. I believe that the father is driving the vehicle, and the teen gets violent with the mother. Yeah. Brother Bakari, I see that you say that you'll be back. It's unfortunate. Or maybe I might replay it when you come back. You let me know because this is not too long of a clip. But again, I ask, or Shoot the Breeze number 4 topic asks, if this was your wife or mother of your child, what would you do? Brace yourselves. We've been on a roll, like Black Steel says, as far as inflammatory comments. This is an inflammatory type video. So if you have teens and you don't want them to be influenced, please, I beg you, go ahead and send them to another room or send them outside if the weather is nice. Let's go.
Stop. I talk. Hey, chill. You fucking bitch. You're a fucking bitch. Chill. You was talking all that. Stop. You was talking shit. Stop. That was you, nigga. Stop. I talk. Bitch. Hey, chill. You fucking bitch. You're a fucking bitch. Chill. You was talking all that. Stop. You was talking shit. Stop. That was you, nigga. Stop. I talk. You was talking shit. Stop. That was you.
I only laugh because I'm sure many of you weren't expecting the race of this family. But again, the title says it itself. Teen attacks his own mother on road trip after being told no to rap music. Before we get into the comments in this chat, let's go to the Instagram comments where this video clip is. Dad need to pull over and go old school on him. Straight to jail. Another comment says, do not pass go, do not collect $200. Another comment says, left on the side of the road. Somebody said the driver is in his own lane. Another comment reads, why is the dad just driving like his wife is not being handled by their son? And somebody else says the usual suspects, laughing emoji. In the chat, again, the question asked for Shoot the Breeze topic number 4. If this was your wife or mother of your child, what would you do? RBG says, Zammy. RBG, welcome, by the way. I don't know if I got a chance to greet you, but greetings. Welcome to Shoot the Breeze episode 240. Black Steel says, oh, there are white people. Let me mind my business. Trigger happy as a laughing emoji. Koku 911 says savages. Next. Cheryl says, I suspected they were the pale kind. Lord of Slaughter, we start with you. What say you? If this was your wife or mother of your child, what would you do?
Yeah, if he was mine, I'm just going ahead and just punch him dead in the mouth, man. I'm not getting beat out. But the race of these people that's normal stuff, man. I mean, like that's ground level white folks, man. Like I've seen motherfuckers acting like that out in the real world. You know what I mean? Like they just can't control the kids. But those same kids are the ones that grow up, start shooting up schools, and being terrorists and all the other shit that you see. I mean, this is how they become who they are when they get grown and start acting up. You know what I mean? And the ones that actually like go to school, they skate through. The parents pay for them to go to school. They don't learn anything. They get out. They get these jobs, and it's still that same person right there that you just seen. Like Pete Hegseth or something like that. He's like that. His own mama said he wasn't shit. You know what I mean? And look at him. He's still you know, Department of what is it, Secretary of Defense, whatever the hell they call them, they change it, Secretary of War. They're ridiculous, man. But all of them like spoiled brats, and that's what they do. You know, the parents can't control them. It's just they fucking maniacs, man. That's all I can say. You know, it's the caveman shit coming out. I'll leave it there.
Lord Slaughter, I appreciate it. You summoned Secretary of War Pete Hegseth and said that was a younger Pete Hegseth. It took a lot for me not to spit out my drink as you were saying your comments. Trigger Happy also comments, this is pretty expected as culturally they aren't as family oriented as the propaganda seems, or as at least there is not a sense of stability. Speaking of stability, the one that has let us know that she's in a stable relationship, a marriage, Ama. Well, let's go to you. What say you? If this, how can I ask this? Because you're a wife. So let's say this. If this was you and your husband was just driving along on this road trip, what would you do?
Oh my God. First of all, I was not expecting that. It was just so funny. I know it's serious and all, but that was so funny. That was so, oh my God. Like the jokes make themselves. Like we've been saying this, black people have been saying this type of stuff in jokes for decades. Like like it comes from somewhere. Like now, like people will be like, but I've seen black kids get violent and hit their parents, and then what happens? They get y'all ever see that cartoon with Daffy Duck, and I think it was Elmer Fudd, and Daffy Duck was talking shit, and Elmer Fudd blasted him and his beak turned around. That's what would happen if if I if I ever thought about doing something like that. You gonna get smacked so hard your face gonna get discombobulated. Like you're not even fitting to think about doing that. Like I don't even know what I would do in that situation because I wouldn't be in that situation. Like, okay, so that's behavior. That's not even behavior I would expect from a child. Like, so I got a 3-year-old. And you know how like 3-year-olds always think that they're the center of the universe, right? They think they're, everything is them and everything's like that. And they think they can challenge you. So in that way, I expect that kind of behavior from a toddler. And because they're young and they're still learning, but from that boy, that's a teenager. And then his mom, you could tell the mom is like disabled or something wrong with her. She got a big back. I know. So she ain't fitting to get up and beat his ass. I'm just poking fun, but seriously, like that's what tend to happen. And like I think someone said something about um they tend to grow up and be like uh uh violent offenders, and they tend to shoot up schools. They are the ones, like, because there's no rules, there are no consequences in their house. Like there's nothing at all. And this is a teenager. Like you should not be doing, as big as you are, like you should not be doing that. That is crazy under any circumstance. That is crazy.
Alma, you still didn't answer my question. What would you do if your son, or maybe even your daughter, was beating you senseless on a road trip because you refused to turn on rap music, and then your husband was just driving
Oh, I
along?
didn't even. All right. What I do, I probably put him to sleep. Like that thing Spock do when he touched your neck and you fall asleep and you just fall unconscious. Boop, and then I would beat his ass.
Not a Vulcan neck pinch. What the
The Vulcan neck pinch. And then I would beat his ass. Like,
all right, appreciate it, Alma. Black Steel. You're a family man. If this was your wife or mother of your child, what would you do?
Okay. Hypothetically speaking, right? I'm looking at this situation, right? There's something wrong with this boy. All right. This is not a normal reaction. They're saying he got told no to rap music, right? I'm thinking this kid is.
And he said nigga. Oh, sorry.
Oh, and he said nigga too. Oh,
Yeah, he said nigga too. God damn.
This is somebody who's on the spectrum. I believe I'm definitely getting a hint of autism, some oppositional defiant disorder. This is not his first time behaving like this. This is not his parents' first time seeing this behavior either. So I can't imagine my son doing something like this. I can't imagine. But on the off chance he was to, do this towards his mother, start swinging the right. I mean, if you want to step into a man's place, you got to be dealt with like a man. So we pulling over. I'm snatching him out the car. I like, let's go. Put your hands up. You want to put your hands on your mama? Let's fight. Let's go right now. Let's go, me and you right now. And if he try to charge me, I'm not gonna kill him. I'm just gonna give him a physical reprimand. Just let him know that no matter what happens, that's your mom. You respect her. Put your hands on her. That's crazy. So yeah, we finna throw hands. We finna definitely, you're gonna have to show me, as the young people like to say, As the kids say in my school, do you need that? What if you need that? So obviously you need that. So I'm gonna give you that. But yeah, there's something wrong with this child. This is not normal behavior. His parents have seen this before. This boy is either on the spectrum, he's dealing with some sort of mental disorder, he ain't on his meds. There's any number of things that's going on. And I would hate to see how he acts in school. I would not want to have a kid like this in my class. I gotta tell you. ADHD is a thing. They have something called oppositional defiant disorder, whatever they call it. I call it ain't enough belts ass disorder. But this is just me outside of my professional capacity. You know what I'm saying? But overall, yeah, it's something wrong with this child. He's not playing with a full deck of cards. If you know what I'm saying. If he's on the spectrum, Koku, maybe he don't need that. Maybe I'll sit on him until he calm down. Maybe he's, because I've seen kids have meltdowns in the past, right? Especially if they're nonverbal. They don't know how to express themselves. So they'll have a meltdown and it can be kind of rough. Excuse me, I'm eating my food. But yeah, I feel like there's something wrong with him. So if you're on the spectrum, maybe he don't got to get the 2-piece and the biscuit combo. Maybe we're gonna wait. Whatever techniques his family was taught to deal with his outbursts, with his outbursts that he's having right now. So I think there's that. But overall, it's got to be a strong reprimand. Considering he's not on the spectrum. Again, I think there's something wrong with him. I don't think this is a normal teenage behavior. All right. I'll leave it there. Thanks.
I appreciate it. Real Black Gentleman says, don't you know what? Don't try to
pathologize. Say it with me now.
I'm Jacadero, and I went to the library a lot as a kid, but some of these words that Real Black Gentleman and Trigger Happy give to me, these are tough words. Koku 911 says, you still squaring up, Black Steel, if he's on the spectrum. Black Steel answered. Real Black Gentleman adds, can't take the boy on a road trip. That's all. He can chill at Cousin's house. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, So, and I gotta ask, if was this trip a way to have him use a channel for maybe releasing stress? What would you say about that, Black Steel? Can't hear you, Black Steel.
I'm sorry. You got to know your kid and what their disability is. So let's just say, hypothetically speaking, this is his first time doing this mess. Maybe you didn't know he was gonna react this way because he couldn't listen to NBA YoungBoy. All right, okay, whatever. But I just feel like, yeah, you got to know. Sometimes some kids you can't take on road trips. Sometimes you may have to leave them at home. You may have to do something else with them because, if they are on the spectrum, they have some sort of disorder or whatnot. There's limits to what they're capable of doing. I had this one kid, right? Story time. He got a masturbating class.
Black Steel, do me a favor, please.
Yes.
Sorry, what age?
Get right here, man. Shit, I'm saying.
Damn,
He
man.
was a sophomore. He was a sophomore. He pull his little tallywhacker out and go to. And he didn't do it to me. He did it to a female teacher, which made me think this motherfucker ain't that autistic because he knew better than to pull his dick out around me. I'm sorry. I shouldn't laugh because she was in the teacher's lounge straight traumatized. Like she. I'm sorry, guys. I'll let somebody take it. It's not funny.
Oh man. Woo. I had an appetite prior to the show. I no longer have an appetite. I appreciate it, Black Steel. Brother Bakari, can you clear our palate from the last part of Black Steel's story on autistic or ADHD kids? If this was your wife or the mother of your children and this was happening, what would you do?
Is he back? Maybe he's not back yet.
Yeah, I don't think he's back yet. All right. Any
Can I?
Yeah, please. Any
Can I
further
make-
comments? Please.
Can I make a prediction?
Go ahead.
I predict, without having any other information. Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to saute this kale. Hold on. I predict, just by the way the father is reacting, that I think, like Black Steel said, this is not the first time that this has happened. Also, he knows how strong the father knows how strong his son is, right? And he know the mother don't got the physical fortitude to fight back because she's, I hate to be mean, but she's clearly a big back. If you know what that means, she's a big back. She can't fight back. She ain't got, she ain't gonna try to subdue him. She can't do anything. That's why she's not doing anything. The father, this has happened more than once, and the father is just like, whatever. That is the most concerning thing for me, and that's what makes me think that this is more of a child who's just never had consequences in his household. He never had nobody actually beat his ass. Like, he never got sat down and told what it was. And I can probably bet you that the parents act like they don't care because he got black friends and he listen to rap. And that's probably they probably think that's the cause of the behavior. But it's probably really the parents. Like, you gonna tell me the father didn't stop not once? He didn't even turn. He didn't even turn to look back to see if his wife was okay. That tells me that he probably is an abuser as well. All this is a prediction. He's probably an abuser as well. The child has probably seen the father abuse the mother. That's a possibility. And he's just doing what he sees. But the father doesn't give a good goddamn about the mother at all. He doesn't. That's one thing I can confirm. He does not care. And if he don't care about her, and it's a lot. It's a lot going on there. It's a whole lot. And it's not just as a kid. Like he could he could have some mental thing, but I think this child has neglectful parents. Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, just to add to that, maybe the father has tried to fight the child once or twice and probably lost. That could be a possibility as well.
Yeah, maybe, but he don't care about the mom. He don't give a damn. He don't give a damn. He's not scared. He's not scared. He's just driving. This kid, he is not that strong. Look at no, bro, no. Because you could have turned her. You could have, if you know your child act like that, you could have had a shoe. You could have took off a shoe. You could have stopped the car. You could have reacted, even if you couldn't do nothing as the father. You could have had some type of reaction, bro. I'm not buying it, bro. I'm not. These are neglectful parents for sure.
Yeah, I gotta agree with her about the parents. Because if it was something wrong with the kid, why wouldn't they just play the music if they know something's wrong with him? If you got a kid that's gonna be acting like that, you kind of want to, appease them so they don't start showing out. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, look at the parenting, man. That's what I think. If it's a slow kid, you're trying to keep them, in the right state of mind so they don't. I mean, he could jump up and grab the wheel, wreck the car, and kill all of them. You know what I mean? But I think it's more of the parenting than the kid, because whether he's slow or not, he should have never got to that point at that age where he feels like he can swing on his moms and shit. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's it, man.
In the chat, Real Black Gentleman says, in reference to Amma saying she's a big back, he says, big back number 44. Goku says, Pops might have raised the allowance after that beatdown. Hey, I think we're pretty done with this Shoot the Breeze topic number 4. Let's go to Shoot the Breeze topic number 5. And this is a feel-good one. Guys, this is a feel-good one. We're going to end it feeling good. I don't think that this got enough attention in the Black world, just because just maybe how often this is done. As Black people, we are known as athletically gifted, not only intellectually gifted, academically gifted, but athletically gifted. So it's almost like it's another Monday when one of us completes something just incredibly well. And so last month in April, the London Marathon had not one but two, and I believe even the third place winner ran under a 2-hour time. And again, this is a feel-good story. And Shoot the Breeze topic number 5 says, is there anything we can't do? So we go to a video prompt. It's about 2 minutes long. It's a feel-good topic. Let's go to it just to end the night. Stand by.
Of just how fast Sawe's and Kajolcha's finishing 5K splits were. But those were just their best splits. The reality is, the entire race's average are absolutely disgusting. Sawe specifically averaging over 42 kilometers, a 5K pace of 14 minutes and 10 seconds, an average mile of 4:33, 2:49 per kilometer, 68 seconds per 400 meter, 34 seconds per 200 meter, and 17 seconds per 100 meter. Pick your poison in how you convey the speed of this race. It's silly stupid no matter how you look at it. But running 17-second 100 meters 420 times in a row sounds pretty damn nuts. Previously on this channel, I haven't covered roads of marathon. I usually follow the news of it, but hand on my heart, this was the first time I ever sat down live to watch an entire marathon, and it was this one. And because of that, I can't properly explain the intricacies of the course, the fueling methods used, which was averaging 100-ish carbs per hour through some gel, his insane mileage, running 220 kilometers per week, which is astronomically high, or even how supposedly the new Adidas shoe saved him and Kajelcha 50 seconds because they're 30 gram lighter than competitors. What I do understand is numbers. The game is changing at an accelerated rate. From the 20 years between 1986 and 2006, the world record moved 2 minutes and 17 seconds. Compare that to the last 20 years, 5 minutes and 25 seconds. We've just broken this barrier, but this isn't the world record's final form. This was one of the most iconic moments in sports history, and in an insane premonition after Sawe's debut of 2:02, Adidas felt he was going to break the world record. So to put it bluntly, they drug tested the shit out of him. I don't really have much to add to that, I just think this is crazy. So in conclusion, and in line with the title of this video, I have a special challenge. Go out there and run 400 meters in 68 seconds for as long as you can, or whatever one of these splits you think you can handle. When we watch sport, and any sport, we take for granted how easy and smooth these guys make it look. Because I guarantee, until you do it yourself, you don't realize how superhuman these guys are.
Woo, you don't realize how superhuman these guys are. Again, Shoot the Breeze topic number 5, our last topic of the night. Is there anything we can't do in the chat? Koku911 says English is kicking Jock's ass tonight. Yeah. Hey, what can I do? I can only do so much here, huh? Let's start off with Amma. After what you've seen, I don't know if you were aware, don't know if you kept up with this gentleman, Sebastian Sawe, and also the second place runner-up ran under a 2-hour marathon, which, again, people were saying might not have ever been accomplished. What say you? Is there anything that we can't do, Amma?
Absolutely not. Like, I wasn't aware of this particular run that he ran under 2. Right. I wasn't aware of this particular run, but I already know what they're capable of. It was just a matter of time. But yeah, like athletically, I mean, intellectually as well, but athletically, we just always had it. You know, I like to think of myself as an athlete, but I'll never be on that level. Like like the runners from that area. What the hell is that? Sorry, that threw me off. What the heck?
That was the kid that was beating up his mom.
Oh my god! It seems natural. It seems natural to him. So okay, that makes sense. It seems natural, but that makes sense. But yeah, I think, you know, athletically, like they're not even, like, you can't even compare them to the rest of the world. Even people that are runners, when you whether you're a distance runner, whether you're a sprinter, they're just on a whole nother level. They have routines, they have certain way that they eat, they have certain trainings, you know, they have all of these things that allow them to do that. And some of them, um, arguably, some people would say that, you know, they have less, I won't say they have less of a strict diet, but because I think genetically they have a certain thing. And I could probably say the same about a lot of sprinters, which a lot of sprinters tend to come out of Jamaica. You got a lot coming out of you know, Black Americans. Like it's the same formula, it's just a different type of athlete. We just built like that. You know, we just built different. And I know, for myself, if I had the resources, like the right push, I think I could. I think I could not, probably not a sprinter. I'm not a sprinter, and I'm short. I got little legs, but I've always been a distance runner. I could run. I could just run. And last week I did 25 miles. So I mean, that's with me. Just I just run. I'm a runner. I don't run for speed. I can't, you know, you know, I'll be 40 soon. I can't be doing all that, messing my knees up and stuff. But I think considering I had a baby, I think I might. I think I might. But like I love to run. It's something about running that just for me, it just does something to me. Like I love it. It releases stress. It gets me right for the day. And I think it's something about our people, like with running, like any sport really, but like running, like we got that thing. And I think if we all were, we had the right foods. And remember also their food that they eat over there, bro, this thing we got over here in America, man, this crap that we eating, we be just like that too. They stuff is fresh, like grown from the ground, no sprays or preservatives or nothing like that. So it makes sense. I mean, it's that with genetics, but like if I was eating like that, boy, what? I be killing it. I be killing it. But yeah, that's it.
Awesome stuff, and congratulations on the child. At least for me, I didn't even know that you're now a mother. So big congratulations, Amma, and especially to still be running after birth. It's a feat in of itself. I know that Shelly Ann Fraser Price was also a mother competing in the Olympics, and I thought, man, like there's nothing that we can't do. So just like the question, speaking of Black Steel, you're a teacher. Is there anything we can't do after seeing, or I'm not sure, I don't know if you were aware prior to today, Sebastian Sawe and the second place runner-up breaking under 2 hours for marathon records.
So Black people have always dominated these type of marathon, these running sports. Like we've always dominated in this type of sport. All the way back. It was so bad that they were talking about banning people from Kenya and Ethiopia and Malawi because they were just dominant in these long distance running sports. I always thought that was crazy. This is something that they never understand. Right? We're just good at this sport, and that's okay. That's okay. It's good that African people can be good at something and dominate these type of sports. So yeah, I'm happy. Excuse me. Sorry. I'm happy. There's nothing we can't do. The problem is we just got to put our minds to it. When we fight, we win, but sometimes we fight for the wrong thing. That's all. I'll leave it there. Thanks.
Man, I'm glad that you pointed that out. Historically, we've always been good at, athletics, and especially specifically in running, whether it's short distance, long distance. Did you guys see his split? Sebastian Sawe split. He actually ran a faster second hour than the first hour. So in the first hour of a marathon, it's supposed to be your fastest split just because, boom, you already have the electrolytes going through you and whatever nourishments of foods that you've eaten before. But he ran a faster second hour. Whew. Lord of Slaughter, what say you, man? Is there anything that we can't do after seeing what you've seen?
I would say no. I mean, we are the first people. We're the only people that's really supposed to be here. So it seems scientific that we would be the strongest, fastest, everything. We were born, we were created with in the essence of, you know what I mean? But I don't do a lot of watching, long distance running. I watch a lot of documentaries, and what impressed me was I watched a documentary with the Khoisan, and they actually chase down like an impala. And I don't mean like they just run it until the impala just gives up.
Wait, like the deer?
Yeah. Yeah, they run with the deer. The deer sees them and it's getting away, but it keeps running and they just keep running behind it until the deer just gives up and stops. And then they shoot it with the arrow. You could probably find it on YouTube. I was like, that's crazy, But I think with the right training, if you could maybe get like some of the Khoisan to get into it, yeah, they would be like in first, second, or third too. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was impressive, man. And I'll leave it there.
Incredible. I'm gonna have to check out that documentary. No, chasing a deer is one thing, but chasing it until the deer gets tired, the impala especially, because those are usually faster than the American deer that we're used to, just because they have to actually run away from a lion, a cheetah, a jaguar. So
yeah, I mean, it might have been, another different one of those deer type animals, but impala is just the first one. Impala. It might have been a gazelle or something, but
either
it was one of those.
way,
Yeah.
man. An animal that's getting usually chased by, again, the apex predators of those big cats. Black Steel, you got something to add? Go ahead, man.
No, I think it's just amazing. Nothing else to add.
Amma, what say you? Anything else to add? I don't know if Brother Bakari is back yet.
No, like I'm amazed. I'm always amazed. Like, with the sprinting and him breaking the 2 hour, that was just a matter of time. Like, I wasn't even shocked at that because I already know what our people can do. But like with chasing down the animals and everything, like yeah, that's just amazing. Like, but they eat things that. How come every time I talk that come up?
I'm telling you, that's that kid, and he heard what you said about him. He heard what you said about him. He said he heard it, so he's coming after you on those 4
That
lanes.
is crazy.
Brother Bakari, are you back?
Yeah, I didn't see the video, right? So I had to step away. But I came in and I heard Lord of Slaughter talking. I've seen that video he's talking about 4 times. They literally chased it. They chased that deer. The chase lasts about 4 hours, and they take turns. And they take turns chasing the deer till they just wear him out, and he go lay down. And they go stand over him. One of them kissed him on his head, and they say they pray and they thank the ancestors and their God for the meal they're about to eat. Yeah, I've seen that video. I know what Lord of Slaughter is talking about.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, Bakari. I don't think they was believing me at first.
No, I've seen it like 2 times. They're running in. It's like 4 of them, and they chasing that deer, and they just keep chasing him and keep until the deer just wear out, and he can't even fight back. He just lay down, and they stick him. They walk up to him, and they just poke him with the spear. But man, can't nobody beat these Kenyans. Look, we have had this marathon back where I'm from in Mississippi. I think the winner get 10,000. And I think this is what these Kenyans do. And there was this one white boy one year talking about he was going to win and he was going to beat the Kenyans. And the Kenyans were late. And they were like 7 minutes late. That's how far they were behind that white. My brother say, man, them Kenyans, it was 3 of them. Man, they got off that bus, their legs moving like horses. Man, they say, you know what? They say them white people were so happy that they only about 3 Kenyans. So a white dude got to come in 4th place. He got to come in 4th place. He came in 4th place after having a 7-minute head start.
Not the cartoon noise.
Yo, bro.
I had to. Woo! Guys, man. I just wanted to.
Kenyans.
Go ahead,
bro. The only thing closest to the Kenyans when it comes to these marathon runs were the Ethiopians. And that just goes to show how we are all around the world. Kenyans focus on marathon running. You can't beat them. Jamaicans focus on sprints. Hard to beat them. What we call Jamaicans, the African Americans focus on basketball, football, then some track. You can't beat them. And it is what it is, right? When it comes to our athleticism and the things that we can do physically. But we can also do those things mentally, academically. We can do whatever we set our mind to. That's what I believe. And I give them that.
And to add on what you're saying, Brother Bakari, I appreciate it. Thanks for coming back. The Williams sisters were so dominant in tennis that they had to invent rules for Serena and Venus not to continue to destroy and humiliate their opponents. Just think about that. They were winning so much that they said, hey, we're going to invent some rules just for you two. And we're not even going to get to Tiger Woods. We've already seen what come on. You know, he has to, he was so good that he has to drink himself into a DUI every 4 or 5 years. Just to be like, I'm going to give you guys the opportunity to win the Masters. Any other thoughts on this, Black Steel, Bakari, Amma, Lord of Slaughter?
I got one more thought. Do y'all know the boxer Anthony Joshua from England?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Anthony Joshua was talking, right, one time, and he was like, well, you know, he said when it comes to athletics, right, he said the African Americans, they are superior to everybody because they focus more on athletics, right? And he started talking. He said when you look at the Nigerians' education, here in America or here in the UK, they're more educated because they focus on education. And he started talking about what each African group focus on, right? And he said one thing we need to realize, if we put all those focuses together and become just African people, the things that we could do in this world. He said it, and he sent it out in a tweet. And because he also tweeted out after George Floyd, he said all that, and he was like, it's time for African people, Black people, to stop supporting everybody that's not Black. See, once it's out there, it's out there. They of course, he came back. They made him take it. You know, he had to take it down because he probably about to lose, you know, some 15, 20, 30 million dollar endorsements, right? But he said it, and people kept it. And what I was trying to get people to understand, instead of y'all celebrating that Africa, there was some people who, you know, celebrating that he say African, to see even he know that we're superior. What he said was we're superior in athletics because that's what we focus on. So then he started talking about what other African people is focused on. So if we put all our focus together, we can, a lot of people that was on social media with big channels, because I watch a lot of boxing channels, right? Because I'm a boxing fan. They didn't understand what he was saying. They would just see the Black American is the most, that's the only thing they heard. After that, that was it. But he was basically talking about if we came together around the world, what we could do and what we could accomplish and what we could control.
Awesome stuff.
And now I yield the mic.
Awesome stuff. Man, I don't know about you guys, but I want you guys to take with that and just know one thing, you know, Garvey and those before him said it, but he's just more famous for saying it. Up you mighty race, you can accomplish what you will. Speaking of accomplishing things, you know what time it is, huh? It's time for shout outs. Shout outs to people, places, things, whatever, whether they accomplished something or just made you feel good. You want to recognize that person, those people, or that thing. Lord of Slaughter, what's your shout out for this week?
I want to shout out Assimi Gorda and the AES for holding back the terrorists. You know, for them to keep fighting. There's a lot of bad things happening on the continent right now. You know, you got the shit going on down in South Africa. Here Zimbabwe is about to give the land back to the white people and pay reparations. You know, but at least we still got some good news coming out of the north.
Appreciate you, Lord of Slaughter. Black Steel, what say you? What's your shout out for this week?
Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. Shout out to my mom. Shout out to all the moms. That's all my only shout out. I know we don't need a holiday, but even still, it's nice to let your moms know she's appreciated out there, you know, even to those who may not be with us anymore, but just shouting out all the mothers. Happy Mother's Day.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, Black Steel. Brother Bakari, what's your shout out for this week?
I want to shout out to the panel. Shout out to you for doing a great job hosting for the good brother Koku. Can also be called Koku. Shout out to the panel. Shout out to all the mothers. I want to give a shout out to my son again, because I wasn't here last week to do the shout out, even though I came in. Him and his girl for graduating from Jackson State. And I want to give a shout out to Ivory Paul Phillips, the author of the book, The Ayers versus Waller Case. Can you all see this book?
Very well.
You can see that book?
Very well.
Okay, you see the man on the cover of that book?
Give me a moment here. Oh, yeah, we see it.
You see the man on the cover of that book?
Yes, we do.
That's my father. The Ayers Wallace case, when I say we can do anything that we put our mind to, this man right here, actually, he was dead when it happened, but he stood the good fight. He turned down millions of dollars to go to New York and LA because he said if he left Mississippi, they would have shut down our HBCUs. So he started a lawsuit, and it was for black people to go to a black college and get a black education. He was dead when it won. They reworded it just a little bit, but this is my pops. And if y'all want to, y'all can get that book. So when I be talking some of the stuff I talk, now he died when I was 14, but he taught me a lot of stuff in my 14 years of being with him. And that book, once again, is The Ayers versus Wallace Case, The Promise and the Disappointment by Ivory Paul Phillips. And I get that author shout out. And on that note, peace out. I'm going to yield the mic.
Appreciate it, Brother Bakari, man. Oh, my gosh, man. Brother Bakari, please type the title of that book as well as the author, your pops. Big shout out to your pops. May Yesai have mercy on his soul and forever eternal peace on your pops. Please type the title and the author in the chat just in case those are driving, those that aren't able to see what we've seen. Because, man, that's really important, man. Man, that's a salute. Brother Bakari, I see you. Hey, Amma. What's your shout out for this week? I know you had to follow Brother Bakari, but man.
Bro, I don't think I can top that. That was pretty cool. That was nice. But I just say shout out to, I don't know, like any and all black people who continue to ask why and they don't accept things at face value. You know, they just, it's a lot of confusion going on, but like I think it's important that, when people are confused about something, they know something is wrong, but they just don't know how and they don't know why. So I think it's good when like black people, especially like all ages really, but like, younger black people when they're inquisitive and they want to know more about black people. I mean, want to know more about, why we're in the state that we're in, what can we do and how do we do it? I think we need to give some shout outs to that because it's just a lot of people who want to do something, a lot of young people, but they don't know who to turn to, or the people they try to turn to, they're not consistent. So just shout out to them.
Oh, man, you guys are gonna have me shed a gangster tear here today, man. That's you guys are awesome, man. My shout outs. For those that don't already know, I am Jacadero out of Omaha, Nebraska, a proud resident of Omaha, Nebraska. I know I'm the son of Kenyan parents, but still, man, Omaha has a special place in my heart. And this is the home of the Empowerment Network. We are the biggest Afro-African Black organization here in the Midwest, but we partner with sister cities nonetheless: Tulsa, Oklahoma; Houston, Texas; Kansas City, Missouri; Lansing, Michigan; Memphis, Tennessee, and everything outside and in between. This week was the rebuilding, the 19th annual. I want to say this again. The 19th annual Rebuilding a Village Conference, and you guys can't not miss the 20th next year. Please do not miss the 20th, and don't miss any other events that the Empowerment Network puts on. If you want to get involved, whether that's real estate, HVAC, electrical, finance, tech, fintech, and everything outside and in between that I did not mention. Visit www.empoweromaha.com. The website is redeveloped, so it looks class. It looks nice. It looks sleek. Come on, we're in the age of AI, and we talk about that. We get you connected with AI experts. I'm only just breaking in the surface on what we do at the Empowerment Network. Again, we're based out of Omaha, Nebraska, but we are not limited to. Again, that's www.empoweromaha.com, the official website of the #1 Black Empowerment Network organization here in the Midwest. And also, big shout out to Koku, brother Koku. Man, I love doing this. I'm honored to do this. And guys, it's episode 240. We are 60 episodes away from 300. 300. Huh? I'm Jacadero, filling in proudly for brother Koku. We'll see you guys next week on episode 241. With that being said, Shemi M. Hotep, Uncle Jasa Neb Neb. Peace.